started. Let me know if you want to pull it up at all. You can see my screen. I'm gonna ping people and tell. And then
Reactive by Fuji.
yep, that's what does the little Discord icons that yap when they like light up when you yap.
But was that the thing that you meant to tag and not your Twitch?
Wait, what did I tag?
You tagged Reactive by Fuji.
Wait, where?
In Creator Clash House, the link you just posted.
Oh. I forgot that I did not have that copy pasted most recently.
This
This
is
is not
not
your
your
stream.
stream.
SMH lying.
SMH my head. All right. Have you posted the link everywhere you need to?
Yeah, we have done ye old post the link. Hello everyone. Welcome to the stream. We are doing Pokemon once again. For those of you who weren't around yesterday, we streamed NBA replay reviews in the early evening, and then late evening we watched the finals of the NHL League. So we are back once again with another league, and I'm here with one of the admins of the OTL, the 1 Trillion League, Mr. KilehKa. I butchered that. Some of you may know him as Aiden, and I may or may not refer to him by either or throughout the stream, so I apologize in advance. But yeah, you want to introduce yourself a bit?
Sure. I'm KilehKa, or Aiden. One of the people running this season, and in the background we've been building up Cube, which is also going to be exciting.
Oh yeah. We'll get you talking about the Cube for sure later.
Yeah, but that's it. My introduction is non-existent.
I guess your takes will speak for themselves, so we'll probably just get right into it. Let me just make sure that we don't have any other issues on stream end, but it looks like my audio is good. I gotta stop muttering to myself so much. But yeah, we have season 2 of the OTL. It's officially started. For those of you wondering, this is an invite-only league. We do have a pretty small little roster of players, but we also are doing a lot of experimental league things going on.
Formats?
Experimental formats. That's a probably better way of putting it. Notably, if you look at our tier list, we have a maximum of 30 points. There's only 5-point tiers, 1 to 5, and most high mid tiers are banned. It's basically like 10 points in other leagues and below is the only thing's really legal, give or take the point ranges. So it's a very like lower power level draft, but we wanted to run it this way as a way of making other things shine. I personally, I'm part of the mod team, but I took a step back from basically designing the tier list for this season because I wanted to focus more on my streaming. And so if you have any comments or complaints about the tier list, don't fare them my way. That's a Lucas and Aiden and Azzy.
We also don't care either, but you are welcome to have them.
We don't care, but you're welcome to tell us what you think.
I mean, that's what people have always done with tier lists, anyways.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So with that in mind, 30 points. Notably, there's no weather setters, with the exception of like one or two niche technically weather setting abilities. So like Torkoal, Pelipper, all that stuff is banned. There's also no Terra for Gen 9 Nat Dex League. No Terra. Anything else that I'm forgetting about that's important for our format?
I mean, there's the common ones of like there's no Z moves, there's no Dynamax or shit like that. Yeah, and I think the only weather Pokemon that we let through was Sandaconda, because that one's at least conditional. And I don't know if
I
we
remember
like
seeing
talked
that
about it and
Sandaconda was
said
technically
not fine,
legal with
or if we
Sandspit,
just did it.
and I was like, wait, doesn't that break the no weather rule? But whatever.
Yeah.
Like Sandaconda's a fun mon, so. But yeah, we have 18
And
players.
so interestingly,
Oh yeah, sorry.
yes. I was just gonna say, interestingly, we're trying to experiment a little bit with it's not a hard rule that there's no weather setters. The weather setters just aren't included on the tier list. And so as we're moving more towards Cube, we are trying to reinforce the idea of like the things that are listed are the only ones that are legal, rather than assuming that everything is legal except for things that are listed as banned.
And for those of you who haven't heard, we are in the background working on a cube format. And for anyone who's ever played a Magic the Gathering cube or something of that ilk, it's basically exactly like that, where there's only certain cards or certain Pokemon legal. It's a very like reduced total roster size, and it's basically you make specific synergies available in the draft board, and it's up to the players to try to assemble them together while competing for space. And so it lends itself to like smaller size divisions. But it also leads itself to some more creative building and making some of the Pokemon that you wouldn't normally see in a draft league kind of have some limelight. Also, hello, stream. Mr. Gotor is here. So that's being worked on in the background, but we wanted to run this league as we continue to work on that as like another progression, basically, towards playtesting some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing like preem background music for doing spreadsheets. Hell yeah, we love to see it. We're also doing spreadsheets, so yeah. Thank you. Anything else you wanted to add to that on the whole?
I guess just the bonus is so earlier I made a joke. If you have complaints about the tier list, we don't care. Part of that is actually because we're putting a ton of effort into the cube and balancing that as best we can. So this season is kind of a low effort season in terms of the tier list, where we made a whole bunch of just like sweeping decisions and
just raw hot takes basically thrown on here.
Yeah, like there's a lot of shit in one that should not be in one. There's a lot of shit that like is not quite in the correct tier, and we just don't really care because this is
the hot take tier list. But yeah, no, absolutely. Like, should Darmanitan and Araquanid and Arcanine all be in the same tier? Maybe not, but like, at the end of the day, if people can abuse it, that's a player skill. So good on them for finding the niche there and abusing it. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else to really talk about the tier list outside of have fun.
It should be a good time.
Find the good stuff yourself. We have 18 players total, I believe.
Yes, sir.
So a little bit of a weird number, but we're basically playing. You play 5 random players for regular season, and then we'll have some sort of format for playoffs announced. I don't know if you guys had decided on that or not, but I try to stay away from discussing the playoff format against Lucas sometimes because I don't want to like just be an asshole mansplainer about it. But
Yeah, see, it's funny. I'm a really big advocate about different format things, but specifically the season format of like the schedule or playoffs. I don't give a shit about that. That's for the other people to figure out.
fair. And yeah, there's some very notable names in here. We have some very good players. Azzy, Gansuzu, Overmat, even Goater. Goater finally came out of retirement to play a league. So Goater is actually he's here to stand up and maybe take the championship because he's a very good team. But and then we also have a bunch of some of our other friends and local community members who don't have as much time for draft, who are here to have a good time as well. So there's some other new names as well. And what else I was gonna mention? Oh, and a big thing this season specifically. Shout outs to Mr. Stormtide, Mr. NHL Commissioner Stormtide, because he made probably the most defining thing of the draft progression that for this run, and this really leans into like kind of this is more a casual, more here to have fun, more to experiment thing. He made his spinner, his wheel of names of a whole bunch of different types of things to draft, and several players, myself included, did nothing but spin this for their picks. And so, you can see this on stream here, chat. If we spin, we got some great things, we got some terrible things. It's got a whole bunch. I think there's like 100 or some different sections on here.
Yeah, I think he put 100.
Pick a type not currently on your roster. Ooh, that's actually a good one. But you also have like if you see up here, it says Spinda. Several people have landed on Spinda and wanted to shoot their monitors. So definitely the wheel giveth, the wheel taketh away. And I had my fair share of that during draft day as well. But yeah, we love the wheel. We love Mr. Stormtide. So I landed on Spinda and drafted it. Leezy owning up to the bit. Let's go, Leezy. So any other last comments before we just get right into roster reviews?
I think I'm all good to hop in.
Okay, I do want to try and get this stream done before 7 o'clock. But that said, we have 18 teams, and if we take 10 minutes on each, that's like 3 hours roughly. So we're probably going to yap longer than we want to. So just fair warning for anyone who is buckling in for stream. But our first roster is Azzy. Mod abused Azzy, also one of the commissioners here. I
can't believe he got first.
He got first pick. And in true Azzy fashion, he's drafted exclusively NFE mons.
He didn't just get first though. Like we rolled the order once, got halfway through, realized somebody wasn't on the wheel, so we did the entire roll again, and he got first pick again.
Wait, he got it twice?
Twice. Like we retconned the first one, and then he just naturally rolled it again.
That's amazing. That's so goofy. Damn, okay. Anyways, Azzy, he's actually previously drafted an almost mono NFE team in a real season, quote unquote real season. In which he had Mega Scizor, Aladias, and then the rest were all NFEs. And he said, you know what, I'm gonna do it again. And yeah, so every single mon on here can run a Violite. They're all NFEs, not fully evolved. What are your initial thoughts about this team?
I just noticed he doesn't have a single fire resist, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I actually also just noticed. Dude, there's a billion good water type NFEs. How do you not pick one of them?
I do not know.
Like even War Total is like been drafted before.
That's true. And I think it was originally on his team planner. He was talking about War Total. I don't know why he didn't end up going there.
He also has a notable water weakness. His only water resist is Tangela. So, and like Piloswine and Gligar are both pretty solid NFEs that you kind of want to have the water resist support for. So, yeah, knockoff. If you're not running knockoff on every mon that learns it into this matchup, what are you even doing?
So what's interesting about knockoff is the first time he did this with the Mega Caesar Latias plus all NFEs, everybody turned their brain off. They're like, all right, we just run a bunch of knockoff and we win. And it was very similar to when he did like the full poison season, and everybody was like, oh, I just put Earthquake on my mons and I win. And I will say there is a lot of power in the counterplay being so obvious to the point where like people stop trying to put effort into their builds. Um, there's a lot of Pokemon in this team that don't need Eviolite, and
Oh, absolutely.
if you spam knockoff instead of making um, progress, it like if you have an opportunity to blow a hole in the opponent, but instead you click knockoff because it's free, you will lose games.
Yep, yep. And notably, a couple mons on here are actually very draftable in regular seasons, and even without a Violet. Like Bisharp and Primeape, until Gen 9, like they were final evolutions, right? And so they recently got access to a Violet, but are still totally fine to run as low tier heroes. Just like Choice Banded, you can run like Sucker Punch, Sword Stance, Bisharp without a Violet. Primeape though is especially scary now because of Rage Fist. And so like, you knock off and this comes in, loses whatever item, but now has a Rage Fist boost. That's something you gotta respect because Ghost Fighting is a demonic attacking combo. And for those of you who don't know, Haunter, I have got a borderline, I think it was a 5-0, but I got a 5-0 featuring Haunter not too long ago in the, that was the PGA, I believe, Goater League,
Hunter's
where
surprisingly usable.
Hunter walled Nidoking, which was crazy. So,
Actually, do you want to see something really funny real quick?
oh god, what is it?
Add Ghastly to the team plan. Just take a look at Ghastly's stats compared to Haunter's.
Ghastly is 80 speed, Haunter's 95. Ghastly's 100 attack, and Haunter is 150. Wait, why
It's like not that different.
I mean, the 95 speed tier is actually a really good benchmark to hit, but 100 attack on Ghastly
true.
is kind of crazy.
And like a Haunter is so frail, it doesn't survive shit anyways. So it's like, if you think Haunter is relatively usable, Ghastly's not that far behind.
Ghastly's
honestly.
right there. That's crazy talk. I guess I don't disagree with that. Also, I just want to note, look at the stat spread here of how low everything is with the comparison to what you would normally expect. It's very, very funny to see.
That's definitely some of the biggest weaknesses I noticed immediately is his speed tiers are pretty ass. He's only got one mon above 100, which is
well, I will
kinda
say
tough.
in this season specifically, a lot less of the fast things are actually legal. Like a lot of the 121 speeds, a lot of the 110 speeds are all banned, right? Because they're higher tiered
There's
mons.
a good amount of at least 100s, at least 105s though.
Yeah.
But also he's very clumped of like 260, 270, and then everything else within 10. Piloswine is kind of like the one exception to the speed clumping.
Well, he doesn't really have Trick Room
Um,
abusers, which is interesting because he has a pretty good setter in Porygon too. Even Hunter, I think, can set Trick Room. So.
and also with his team having such low base HP, things like Seismic Toss are gonna be really high value.
There's also no Wish Passer too, so you can't even heal up the low HP NFEs.
Sure.
But yeah, I do have a tier list made here, with all the different players' icons on here. And when I usually make tier lists, I don't like to just put SAB. I like to put actual names for them. So for example, S will be like superb, amazing team, and A is like all right, I guess, and D is like literally never draft this in your life, actually jump off a draft bridge. So
The D stands for draft bridge.
T stands for draft bridge. Yeah, exactly. So I think Ozzy is in B tier. I think his roster is good, but I also think he committed to the bit. And we love to see all NFEs. I think there's some glaring holes, but there's also some glaring strengths on this team. I think Bisharp, Annihilate, Pikachu, Scyther. These mons you cannot disrespect offensively. And then it's got a lot of backbone defensively. Like Gligar is a mon that sees regularly drafting in higher power leagues. Piloswine is usable. Haunter, we've mentioned. Porygon 2 is a demon. So I think, like, you know, glaring weakness is a slide, like with knockoff, fire, water moves. Fighting moves also pretty scary against this team. You know, it's got strengths that it can leverage. So,
yeah, I definitely think he will find some success. I do also think he loses to Darmanitan and Builder.
Yeah, there is a team that drafted Darmanitan, I believe. So,
yeah, I think it was a late pick, but we'll get there.
But yeah,
he also has, actually, now that I look at it, he has a pretty crazy hazard game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Hazard game is crazy. He's got 2 different defoggers, which don't even mind running defog. Scyther can run boots pretty easily. Because it's got the same base stat total as Scizor, I believe. So.
I think so, yeah.
And yeah, multiple T-Spikes, multiple Stealth Rocks, even spikes on Gligar, which is an Omni Hazard setter now, which is crazy. And even good pivots too. Lots of U-turn and Volt Switch. So yeah. So...
Oh wait, he does have a Wish Passer in Pikachu.
Oh, true. Wish Pikachu.
35 base HP.
35. That's actually the lowest base HP on his roster. That's nuts.
That's fucking funny.
But yeah, I'm putting him in B tier. I could go lower, but you know he's committed to the bit, and that's what matters.
Yeah, and I think if he's lower, it's going to be very dependent on other people's team and the specific matchup against them.
Yeah. I believe Trix is next. This one. Sorry. While I go through that. Okay, so Drix. I haven't actually looked at this roster. I have like a lot of rosters is my first time looking at them, so I have no idea what to expect. Initial impressions. This has some of my personal favorite mons. We got a Bellybolt, we got a Ninjask, we got a Tatsugiri. Marowak Alola is a demon. Vanilla Diancie is very strong, and he got returned to Monkey Dory.
Yeah. I think he's probably got one of the scariest drafts overall. Tatsugiri is a low tier demon. Munkidori with whether it's like AV with Toxic Chain or it's going Nasty Plot is going to be a problem.
Or Choice Scarf are really good on it too.
He's got a pretty big ground weakness, but Earthworm to just ruin that, where nobody wants to click ground moves into it.
I mean, he's got 4 ground weaknesses and 3 resist/immunities, so it's actually not that bad. Unfortunately, one of his ground immunes is Ninjask, which is like not wanting to switch in to move unsafely ever.
Yeah, because all ground types have the rock coverage, so you're always playing with fire.
Yeah. He's also got 2 different really good electric immunes. Because Marowak Alola is an honorary electric immune with Lightning Rod. And his hazard game, he's got lots of spikes and stealth rocks. And a good spinner too in Tatsugiri. Tatsugiri as a spinner really helps support Ninjask if you want to have that, because it is, I think, one of the fastest things in the entire format, but it also is a absolute burden to bring into a team because of that quad stealth rock weakness, and it also really wants to run a boosting item, so it doesn't really like running boots. It really needs like Choice Band or Life Orb or like some sort of item to help it set up. This team is also surprisingly fast. At first I looked at it, I was like, oh, it looks pretty slow, and then I realized that Monkey Dory is 106, Shaman is 100, and Ninjask like is the top of the speed tiers here.
I do think it's the fastest in the format. We don't have Regieleki or anything.
No
like
Regieleki, no.
The only thing that can test it is the Electrodes.
Electrodes is 150, so it's 10 points faster than them.
That's what I said. It contests it because it at least forces it to run Jolly if it wants to guarantee that speed, though.
And then it's actually got a couple Trick Room setters. Diancie and I believe something else gets Trick Room. I think Monkey Dory actually does, but they do have Trick Room potential with Marowak Alola on the lower speed as well. So, yeah, good pivots.
There's not a lot of recover overall, like a recovery. And
Yeah,
Shaman has recovery. Ninjask, I guess, has roost probably, but is not bulky enough for that to matter. It's just
yeah.
kind of Shaman and Belly Bolt that are gonna stay healthy. Everything else is gonna have a much harder time.
I will say Shaman and Bellybolt together are really good like defensive backbone. Grass typing not being the best sometimes, but the fact that it's a ground resist and Bellybolt is only weak to ground, and you can kind of
Hmm.
choose which one's going to be specially defensive or physically defensive interchangeably, gives you a lot of freedom. Diancie also, it has a very vulnerable typing because of the Rock Fairy having a quad weakness to steel and some other notable weaknesses, but Diancie has very good bulk and very good defensive play as well. So not something to sleep on at all. Um,
Yeah, overall, even like in terms of pivots, it looks a little bit like because the chart only has U-turn and fold switch, but baton pass, the Diancie and Shaman have baton pass. Uh,
true.
Fourth one does not have shed shell, which is worth remembering.
Yeah, that
But
is
like
very much so
overall,
banned. Yes.
there is a good number of pivots, a good amount of bulk, and I guess they're a little bit lacking in terms of like fast physical threats. Marowak is kind of like the only physical breaker,
Sure, there's a beware
which
right there.
I mean, it's kind of a breaker. It's got 125 CC.
125. It's
Okay.
got really high base
It's
power
okay.
moves, and it's also a physical tank. Like, you can't really. It's
Yes,
hard to revenge kill with physical attackers.
Fluffy
So
is a very cool ability. Um,
I
yeah,
think this
overall the
might this
team
might
does
be an
seem
S.
strong.
I don't know. Like, what do you think?
I'm inclined to put it in A for now and maybe adjust based on other things, but it does look like one of the top contenders soon. So maybe that's stupid.
I'm gonna call all grass no breaks for A tier for now. We might change that later. Um, but yeah, I think like this team is very offensive leaning. It's got good defensive backbone, but like even the defensive things are like pretty offensive leaning. Like Bellybolt and Shaman, you can't slouch on offensively, and Earthworm has Iron Defense Body Press, which can sometimes just win matchups on its
Yes.
own. So
Almost every Pokemon on that team has like a major setup option.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Even Dragon Dance
I
Wish
think
Cash
Belly
is
Bolt is
surprisingly
the
real.
Yeah, I think Belly Bolt is the only one without like a real setup move.
It's got Electromorphosis. It's got a setup ability. It's like the same. It's like the same thing.
Yeah.
Next up, I gotta remember to shift paste. Okay, this is Gensuzu's team. Gensuzu, very well known drafter, very very good player. And I think he first picked Ceruledge, which I'm surprised Ceruledge is even legal in this format. That was kind of my initial impression. And then the rest of the team looks very very solid. Like a lot of mid tier value here.
Hmm.
Um, and also notably tagged on the end here, there's a Surge Surfer, Electric Surge combo here. Um, with Pincurch and Raichu Alola, which is very, very threatening if you're not prepared for it.
Yeah, Kensuzu is definitely one of my nightmare player matchups. I cannot fucking beat this man. And he's got a pretty scary team.
He's got good hazards. Technically has T-Spikes on Pincurchin too. Um, Rapid Spin with Donphan. Donphan, I think, is like a very high value pick in this format. Um, and he's got both physically and especially defensive options with Gudra and Wishy-Washy. KilehKa is a pretty good defensive mon. There's notably like not a lot of reliable recovery. There is Bombardier is more of an offensive threat that gets roost, but
Yeah.
it looks like this team is going to be spamming screens and setting up with Ceruledge or Raichu a lot of the time. Sceptile with Unburden is also very threatening.
Yeah. And I will say also that also combos with Electric Surge.
Yes,
Um,
yes, yes.
but what's interesting is kind of like their ground resist is Donphan actually, and then also Reflect because Sceptile and Bombardier are the only actual ground resists, but
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Sceptile isn't bulky enough to really capitalize on that, and Bombardier is also gonna lose to the classic. Every ground type has Stone Edge.
Yep, yep.
Uh,
They're
so
also in a strange
definitely,
position because Ceruledge and Raichu are two of the biggest threats, and their Ghost Resist is Bombardier. And so
hmm,
against of other teams' ghost types, they're kind of like maybe going to struggle to absorb some of those stronger ghost moves. I will say Gudra is probably one of the best Shadow Ball sponges in the game. It's going to take nothing from a Shadow Ball, but
Yeah,
it's still something to be
I
careful
think
about.
yeah, Shadow Sneak is probably going to be part of the bigger threat, especially with Cerule Edge weak armor being part of why it's strong,
Hmm.
also making it weaker to the Shadow Sneak. I think screens is going to be like your number one priority. If you're facing this team, you want your Brick Break, you want your Defog, because he also has good hazard access.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, Keeping screens down is probably going to be a very important part of playing against us.
Oh, and Raichu gets screens too. That's actually also very threatening. And the speed tiers are pretty good. It does have the speed doubling, so Raichu is even faster than it looks, but 110 is a really good benchmark in this format. And like Cerulege being 85, it doesn't look that fast normally, but in this format, it's a lot more of an important benchmark to have covered. So,
And it also doubles from weak armor.
what do you think? Is this team worthy of like A versus S? Like, um,
I think against a lot of players in this is definitely going to be an S tier team. That's going to be really fucking annoying to break.
I can see it. I can see it. I'm a big fan of the Gudra Wishy-Washy type defensive backbone to support this because they can play offense and defense. But I do think with Wishy-Washy and Gudra, this team would have loved to have a Wish Passer to help with them. I think Raichu
Yeah,
technically gets Wish, but I'm not counting that. Really so.
it's better than the 35 of
It's
Pikachu.
better. It's
Still
barely
not
better than
great.
Pikachu. Not much of a real difference there. But I'm gonna put Gensuzu in S. I don't know. Um, I'm gonna suspicious SUSPICIO. There we go. Suspiciously powerful. Yeah, this team does not look like a low tier season draft at all. I think I'm surprised he fit all these points on even. So, yeah. Any more comments on that before I move on to the next team?
He's got a lot of monotypes, which
Oh,
may actually
true.
lead to him struggling a little bit with specific type combinations.
True,
Because
true.
like he has the types he needs to resist things, but does he resist dual stabs is going to be potentially a problem for him.
Yeah.
Um, but he has at
Like
least
both of
three
your
months of
both of
double
your ground
speed.
resists are weak to ice, right? So, and he
Yeah.
also has a mild ice weakness as well.
So, like for example, if he's facing Azzy, who has the Piloswine, he might get his ass broken.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Next up is Leezy Peasy. Um,
Who
who
got the Sandaconda?
who got the Sandaconda we mentioned earlier. Leezy is also my first matchup. Who I will be playing my match against basically as soon as stream is done. So shoutouts to Leezy for waiting for stream to finish before we play our game. So
Back to
I've
back.
already done my analysis on this team for our matchup. So I want to let you talk about it for a quick second here.
Okay, so let's see. Scroll down just a little bit. Thank you.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Uh, I do see a lot of speed clumping in the lower end. I think looking at this, we're definitely relying on the Dracozolt game pretty hard. So how is it at breaking ground types? Because that's going to be the biggest thing it wants to do is lure ground types so that it can take them out of the picture for Dracozolt. Um, Aerodactyl is good at pulling in ground types.
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
don't know if I'm seeing a lot of particular breakers or way to trap them or punish them. Chestnut being the only spike setter also means because stealth rocks are less effective against grass types. I'm not seeing a lot of ways to put pressure on these ground types.
Spikes are worse against. Or sorry, Shelldogs are worse against ground types. But yeah, I know what you meant.
That is what I thought I said.
You
But
said grass.
uh,
It doesn't really matter. Don't worry about it.
there's also a lot of types with no resistance.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no dragon resist. There's a lot of types with one resistance, like one fairy resist, one dark resist. And if we exclude Spinda because that's not a real Pokemon, it only has one Ghost resist.
If we exclude, you can't exclude Spinda, dude. Spinda's been like the hero of this draft.
There's only one Fighting resist. And typically, if you have a draft that has a lot of types without multiple resistances, or at least not like multiple strong ones, it's because it's a very offensively focused draft typically. Um, but in this case, we're seeing a lot of slow, bulky Pokemon. Chestnut is not super conducive to an HO playstyle. Suicune is not an HO playstyle. Even Farigiraf or Avalugg they're not very HO, so they're not really supporting what this type chart is requiring. I think they're going to struggle a lot against breakers of any type that they don't have real resist against. Um, they don't have a lot of pivots either, so they're hard switching into everything or letting something die in revenge killing. I do think this is a draft that is going to struggle, but because they do have the Sandspit, Dracozolt, and even the Aerodactyl is a big threat in the back,
Yep.
they absolutely can still see some offensive wins, but it's probably going to be tough for them in Builder.
So the one thing I actually noticed about this team is, like obviously the offensive prowess of having Sand plus Dracozolt, having an Aerodactyl, a Charizard as like fast offensive threats is really scary. But they also have a very very strong defensive backbone. Suicune, Farigiraf, Chestnut, very very bulky mons. Farigiraf having some of the biggest wishes in the format, and Avalugg, I don't know if it's actually going to come to games, but technically it is like a physically defensive.
It's a very
base.
usable mod, I'll say.
So like I think it's actually got two halves of a good team, but they're not the two halves that want to complement each other. I think that the defensive backbone is really good, and I think the offensive synergy is really cool. But I think it's just missing a little bit of the glue that connects them. So yeah. Also, in before loses to Contrary Trick Room, Spinda, absolutely. We were looking at Spinda's stats in Move Pool preseason because of the meme of it, and it's got tech. Is it actually got the stats to back it up? No, but you know it's got tech. It's got tech. So Spinda believers, Spinda haters are gonna be in shambles, I believe. But we'll have to just see how it works out. I'm probably gonna put this in the same tier as Dondi. I think this is, even if it's not like on paper as good as some other teams might be, this is a commitment to the bit. They got a Spinda. They committed to the Sandaconda. They found the sand line, and like the rest of the team, despite this type chart being so one-dimensional, like there's a lot of big holes here, and a lot of like potential weaknesses and stuff. I think that the team actually does have the support to back it up because like Suicune and Chestnut are very good defensive things that can often take super effective moves and shrug them off. And so that type weakness, or like in neutral moves, Suicune eats up all day. So I think that as much as like you see these glaring holes at first glance, I think that they are not actually as relevant as they might initially appear. That's kind of my take on it. And that was my take when I was building it. So I was like, wait a minute, it's got all these type weaknesses. I was like, oh, but there's a Suicune, you know, like that's a pain to break through. There's Farigiraf can wish support a lot of these mons. So yeah, I think it's like in the same tier as Azzy. Committing to the bit, I think Azzy's team is a little bit better, but you know that's just personal preference. And player difference I think too adds a little bit to that. Any other like thoughts? Any closing thoughts on this?
I mean, I would probably lean it a little bit more towards C tier in terms of like, out of the teams that I'm expecting to see, I think all of the players this season are relatively experienced. So I don't like if this team is B tier, I'm not sure exactly what kind of teams would qualify as C or below. So I'm leaning more towards putting it low. But
Okay.
yeah,
We can.
I do think it will see some wins and might have a good time. Also, what is Leezy's schedule like? Leezy does not have a fun schedule. Okay. Leezy might have a tough season.
Oh yikes. Oh, I just realized I've been going this. Wait, what? You know what? I'm not gonna think about it twice. I'm gonna. Actually, it's your roster
Yeah,
next.
it's me.
Okay. I'll fun with it regardless. That's the yeah. We love that. Okay. I'm gonna give you an opportunity to defend your roster before I tear it to pieces.
Pyuku Muku is a good Pokemon.
Fair. You know what? Understandable. Have a good day.
It's specifically my Blastoise counter.
Okay. Well, I'll believe it when I see it. Initial impressions. You've got a lot of Pokemon that I think are very good outside of low power formats. Slitherwing, Skarmory, Meloetta, Zygarde 10, Jolteon, Basculegion, Aromatisse. Like all these mons have put in work in higher power level leagues. So a lot of I would say picks that have presented themselves well in other formats. Your only mild weakness is a fairy weakness, which that just kind of happens in this format because a lot of the good steel types and the strong fire types are too powerful for the format.
I also definitely don't have a real rock resist.
Oh, true. Yeah, your only rock resist is Zy10.
Zygarde does not count.
It's fair. I didn't even think about that. So yeah, but you got good speed tiers. You got good offensive threats. I do think Zygarde, the issues it has where it can't quite break through some of the like higher defensive tier mons, that's kind of mitigated in this format. And Jolteon is just going to click Volt Switch and be a giant pain to deal with. Slitherwing is a huge threat. And you have Basculegion female. Did you pick that up in trades?
I did. So my original team was Gardevoir over Meloetta, and I didn't have the Basculegion or the Zygarde or the Aromatisse.
Okay, so you made a lot of trades.
Or even the Slitherwing. Yeah, I basically, after I drafted Crocodile, Skarmory, Gardevoir, I went, oh shit, Meloetta is up. I really, really like Meloetta. And so I refactored my entire draft after I was like 75% of the way through it and went, fuck. Okay, I can only do 5 trades in Grace. So that's, I think, definitely one thing I want is like, I want to trade out Blossom for another Rock Setter because Skarmory having all of the pressure to set hazards is pretty rough.
Skarmory's also your only removal as well. So, granted, you don't have any rock weakness to really like cover up for, but hazards are still gonna like collect themselves against you and get chip over the course of the game.
Absolutely.
You do have really good pivots, flip turn, volt switch, and U-turn in spades. You have a good wish passer, which is something that I think is a little bit higher value in this format than it is in other formats. Especially with like some of your Pokemon have a pretty low base HP to really benefit from that. Yeah, I don't know. I like the roster. I said I was gonna tear it to bits, but it definitely feels like it's very top heavy.
Yes, absolutely.
A lot more than some other rosters. So like I think it's a lot easier for your opponents to prep for, kind of knowing what's gonna come. But at the same time, like if what you're gonna prep for is too difficult to beat, that's still a lot of pressure in team builder. So I like that aspect of it. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's gonna be interesting to see what you do with Meloetta because I know you love your crazy experimental sets, and Meloetta really leans itself towards that type of stuff. But at the same time, I think like you are gonna be like forcing certain mons on your team into the same role every time. Like Skarmory kind of has to be your defensive hazard setter. Jolteon and Zy10 are under a lot of pressure to like be fast cleaners. And yeah.
To what you said about Meloetta, I'm just gonna send you a DM of a set I already built.
Oh god.
It's not for actually somebody who's on my schedule, but I want you to just take a look
set
at
you're
that.
like, oh, I hope I could run this sometime.
It's for a specific player, but they didn't end up on my schedule. But just witness those EVs.
Why do you have investment in every stat?
And every single one of them is relevant. Something about this Pokemon just...
That's a I'll believe it when I see it type of thing for me, but sure.
Yeah, after stream, I'll tell you what each of them is for.
Oh my god, okay, yeah. That is certainly a Meloetta set of all time. Um,
It's pretty sick. I love this Pokemon, man.
it is very cool. I do like Meloetta mechanically. And aside, dude, it's the Hatsune Miku Pokemon, you know? Like, come on, what's
For
not to
sure.
love? I'm gonna put your team in A tier. I think, I
Yeah.
don't think it's quite as like objectively broken as Gensu's roster was. Um, and like I said, I think there are a couple of like, you have 7 Mons, right? And like, because Pyukumuku and Blossom are, I'm not saying they're fake Mons, but like
Yeah,
they're
it's very
very
much
match
7
specific
real Mons.
exclusively.
One that
Whereas
shows up every now and then.
Yeah, whereas Gensuzu's low tiers were like Pincurchin and Raichu Alola and Bomberger. So like,
But he doesn't have any 1-pointers. He's
oh,
a
he doesn't have any
coward.
1-pointers. Yeah, like I felt like his team was better rounded. So,
Mhm.
um,
Yeah, I think at the moment it is definitely an A tier type team.
also this is a good point to mention. I didn't know this because I was not reading chat um in the league that much, but if you guys want to make your roster page pretty like KilehKa's here, let us know. We will the mods will be on the whole decoration thing. You can set a different mod as your signature. I know I haven't done that because I just have my first pick set there. But yeah, if you want to have a cool roster page, let us know. We will help you customize it. So you can flex on all the people with default profile pictures like me.
With the thick bars. What an
Um,
idiot.
who is next in draft order? We need to go back to this. It's Ryan. Oh, is this the same Ryan who I was co-commenting with last night? I think it might be. Oh, this team is crazy looking. Oh my
Ryan
god.
has got some fucking threats.
Oh my god, wait. Okay, so first impression, we have setup, we have kind of setup, we have a low
I think it's a
kicks.
great setup.
Yeah. Grafii setup. This team's crazy.
Yeah. The one thing I'll say is like this is a fuck ton of threats, but I think it might be leaning a little bit too much into it is only threats, where the only like kind of glue-esque Pokemon are Tinkaton and I don't know if Grafii gets screens or anything. Flygon, if it's running a defensive set, then it can pretend to be like a glue Pokemon.
Yeah, yeah. The
It
defensive
might be leaning a
Flygon is a
little
very
bit too
big
heavy to it.
role player in lower tiers. Like I think RU defensive default Flygon is actually a very good role player down there.
Mhm.
But yeah, this is all offense. Like yeah, like low kicks is priority in choice band offense. You have setup offense. You have slower wall breakers with Machamp, and even Golem Alola can be a slower wall breaker. So yeah, this is pedal to the metal. Like there is no defense gameplay
Yeah.
here. I will say I have slept on Tinkaton in the past. It is surprisingly annoying to kill. So it is going to play more a defensive role than you might expect. But yeah, definitely not.
On the special side, for sure.
Even the physical side, it just has a really good typing for physical defense. So
Mhm.
something to keep in mind. Cloyster has a high physical defense stat. I don't think that's ever going to really come in play, but and like the hazard games, they got lots of rockers. They do technically have spin. I don't know if Cloyster is ever going to be able to run spin, but like Flygon, like I mentioned, is a very safe defogger in lower
It is
tiers.
pretty consistent, yeah.
And U-turn and Volt Switch, like low kicks and Golem Alola hit hard if they're pivoting. I guess Golem is more physical leaning, but
Yeah. And that's low kicks is going to be like the main pivot that is also like threatening to kill you. Flygon is a good pivot. Golem, I think will struggle a little bit with it because it has like a 4 times weakness and really bad Spadef.
Galvanized Explosion is my favorite pivot move.
That's a good pivot move. I'll give you that. I'm more talking about like consistently throughout the course of a game. I think it will struggle to perform an actual pivot role. Grafii does have Parting Shot, which is worth keeping in mind.
Yep. I mean, it already has U-turn, but yeah, they're both good options for pivoting.
Yeah. So I think this team is going to be really fucking scary, and if you do not have a way to out offense this, you're going to be in trouble. But the other thing it might struggle against is if they can't break through your core mons, like for example, low kicks cannot break through Skarmory.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Typhlosion Hisui cannot break through Meloetta. So in certain matchups where they have like a couple of core defensive mons that they actually can't break through despite being all offensive, then they're also going to have a really bad time where they don't have a secondary benefit or a role to fall back on.
Now, the other thing I actually see as a potential flaw with this team is it's also really weak to opposing setup sweepers. Um,
Yes.
they don't have a lot of tech to get away from like losing to Shell Smash Blastoise, for example. Outside of like getting an encore on the right turn with Tinkaton, or trying to
I mean,
sucker
Grafaiai
punch.
Prankster helps. So it's like low kicks and Grafaiai are their main oh
Like,
shit buttons.
yeah, but they're also like very easy to play around. I feel like if you just run protect, you can stop a lot of low kicks, first impression shenanigans. So I think it's definitely going to be a skill test of Ryan to see how well they can pilot this very offensive leading team. Um,
Mhm.
and like their type chart is pretty reasonable. Like technically they have the ground and flying weakness, but that's just because low kicks and
They actually almost perfectly have one of every type. If that Machamp was a Flamigo, they would
so
actually have
Fulmigo, yeah.
perfect type
That's actually
distribution.
crazy. The fact they have so many types is crazy. And no type overlap either. No duplicates.
Yeah, it is the opposite of Gensuzu.
So yeah, I actually think this team. When I first saw this team on my review page here, I was like, how does it fit the points? Like, I think this goes in as suspiciously powerful for me. But I know like there are some pretty glaring flaws that come up. I just think that like in terms of
Right
like
from the end.
raw, it's at the end. Oh, there it is. I
Yeah.
think in terms of just raw first impressions, literally first impressions, I think it's a very, very powerful team and very, very scary.
Yeah, I think it's for me. It's either like an S or a B specifically
Yeah,
of
it's either a B or an S. Like it's either you have a really
like
good matchup and this team is not that challenging, or this team will just steamroll you. There, yeah.
yeah. I think it's going to be a little bit of a matchup checker where if you have tools to compete against it, it's going to be pretty easy to get through, and if you don't have them, it's going to feel extremely oppressive and shenanigans.
But let's move on to Bozab. Um,
Lethal Blue, actually.
oh, wait. I keep the things are not in the same order. It keeps throwing me through loop. It is Lethal Blue. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so what's funny is because we ended up not doing the conferences, but I did roll conferences. So what ended up
Oh, so that's why
happening
they're in that order.
is
Okay.
the team the doc is in, or at least it was separated by conferences as he mod abused himself to the front. Um, but it was in the draft order and then got messed up.
Hashtag blame Azzy. Everyone blame Azzy in chat. Um, this team looks really good. Right off the bat, amazing Firewater Grass core. Like, this is some classic draft staple core here. I don't think there's a steel type on this roster or a fairy type, which is a little bit unfortunate. But obviously those upon the fairies and steels were in high demand, so a lot of contention over them. They do technically have a couple rockers and T-spikes on Muck, and they do have spin and defog. Technically Rufflet has defog, but they have a lot of pivots. And the speedsters aren't completely terrible. I do like the 110s, and Miss Magius is a relevant 105. Miss Magius, I think, is low-key going to be a very strong Pokemon in this format, because between its ghost utility moves and like nasty plot sets, it can kind of just like suddenly catch you off guard and roll away with the game. Their lower
I'm
speed
not a
tiers are very
big
clumped
fan.
though.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of like nothing between 72 to 105. Any breaker that has 80 speed suddenly gets to go full power, go adamant. Every 100 speed Pokemon gets to have a lot of bulk because either they try to match Miss Magios or they just get to invest almost nothing in speed.
Now I will say, some of their mid-speed tiers are actually really good choice scarfers. Even Rufflet is actually a very strong choice scarfer with hustle. And like
Also, do they have any Trick Room setters?
Um, We'll see.
Because they do have some really good abusers.
It's just Miss Magius.
That's a little bit tough, but maybe doable.
There's also no webs, which might also be appreciated by like Ampharos under webs means it can run full speed and catch some things off guard. So
Yeah, even Glastrier can do that as well.
Yep.
Webs would make a pretty big difference here.
yeah, no, I think
yeah.
it's missing like one or two little things here that would really cement it a tier higher. But I think this is probably like a B tier. I don't really know if there's a. Did they commit to a bit? Did they have like a, did they roll the wheel for everything, or did they just like pick ones that like?
I have no idea.
We'll have to ask Blue. But I don't think he was spinning the wheel.
Yeah, I would definitely I'll definitely say I would have liked Rufflet to be something else. I think it's going to be very similar to Glastrier as like a physical breaker. I don't know if it's performing any roles. Like, it's not a good speed tier. It's not going to be a defensive flying type. It's not going to be your defogger. So I don't know what it's really offering this team other than just being like a pretty usable 1-point Pokemon, which is fair.
That's fair. Like, if you were to like do trade-ins or something, like what would you say, like, oh, maybe take the 1 point from Rufflet and upgrade like something else on the team, like.
I would have liked to see like a psychic type trick setter with a pivot move, or something in those middling speeds.
Is Mesprit still on the draft roster? I think what you're talking about is Mesprit basically.
It might actually still be open. I don't think I saw anybody draft it.
Uxie is still available.
That's pretty good.
Mesprit also, yeah. Uxie or Mesprit I think would be great additions to this team.
It would. Point-wise, it's going to be a little bit tough to fit, admittedly, but I do think it would be a great addition.
It would make your Ghost and Dark matchup a little bit worse, but I don't hate it. There is some notable type weaknesses here, but they do have like 2 resists for most of them, so it's just kind of like a matter of, I guess the rock resists aren't ideal, and no dragon resist with no steel or fairy is a little bit hard, because there are some very powerful dragons in the lower tiers that you have to respect. But honestly, I really like the first 3. I think the Firewater Grass Core is really good.
Yeah.
Like mid-tier.
All 3 of them are bulky. All 3 of them have pivot moves. All 3 of them have extra utility as well.
And they have offensive prowess. Like, you can't sleep on Incineroar and Swampert offensively. Serena obviously has really good coverage. So I think like it's just a matter of like you have this really good Firewater Grass Core that can support a lot of things, but currently your team is putting a lot of pressure on it to perform.
I think if they had the first 3, Lycanroc Dusk, and then like a really consistent remover, they would have like a really tough to handle main 5. And then
they do have Serena, which is a pretty good rapid spinner. So the removal
I forgot she
okay.
Spin. So I think their main 3 plus Lycanroc is going to be the core of their team that is going to be really hard to deal with. And everything else can just kind of slot in as they see different matchups and what they need.
Yeah. I think this kind of goes in the same tier as Leezy. I think it might be a little bit better than Leezy's, where they could cook it a little bit more. It's a little bit, still a little bit blue. Although I know some people like the blue steaks, but a little bit blue chicken. You need a little bit more cooking time to get it up to temp. So I think a couple trades make this roster a huge improvement. And I'm really interested to see what they do with it because they have some really good like draft staple Pokemon on here, and it's just a matter of how you play the matchups and how you make it all work together and what you cook up. So let them cook. Jesse.
Yeah, very solid. I'm excited to see it.
Next up we have Bobozab. Now this roster, I saw the first mon and I'm already happy because I think this is probably one of the best mons in the format. Their first pick was Starmie, and yeah, like I think that's one of my personal favorite mons. I also think it's one of the best mons in this format with where the bans of like mons that are too heavy, too powerful. Let me put in Mega Manetric here just because the formatting's a little bit different. Nobody got 2 different dogs. They got 2 dogs. They got
the double dogs.
Torterra definitely got that dog in him.
But turtles are just reptile dogs.
Honestly, yeah. Have you ever seen the videos of like turtles that like walk around a backyard and kick a ball around? Like they're just very slow, big dogs. So
Yeah.
what
It
the
is
dogs
interesting that
doing?
they went for the Amoonguss directly into the Torterra, just the double grass back to back.
Hmm.
They don't end up with an ice weakness though. It's just those two.
Actually, they have a lot of ice resists. I guess Probopass and Starmie and Houndoom, they're
Yeah.
like kind of weird ice resist, but definitely good ones. Um,
Actually, now that I'm looking at their type chart, what's really interesting about this is like if it wasn't for Probopass, their ground weakness would actually not be bad at all because it would just be 2 and 2. That's handleable. But if it wasn't for Probopass, their flying weakness would be very bad.
oh yeah, yeah. No,
Like,
the flying and ground weaknesses are not actually that bad because they have two very solid resists. Heracross and Torterra, very reliable ground resist. I wouldn't say Heracross is reliable necessarily, but the fact that it can come in and threaten something out is huge. It can take like
mhm.
non-stab earthquakes really well. And Torterra, it has the grass ground typing, which notably resists Edgequake. So that helps a lot too. There is no flying type on this team, I don't think. So that is kind of like a missed
No
opportunity,
flying,
maybe.
no dragon, no fairy.
No fairy, but they do have, surprisingly, they have a good dragon resist and no dragon weakness with Probopass. So the dragon matchup isn't completely terrible.
A lot of physical dragon types are gonna have earthquake, which is going to be scary for them. They're gonna
Yeah.
probably be boxed into like balloon or Shukaberry on Probopass and a lot of dragon wins.
Now, the one thing I will say is they have really good removal. They have two great rapid spinners. Their hazards game, like offensively, isn't too
It's
great,
okay.
but like
It's
Spike's
okay.
Heracross is a real set, and the combination of two really good stealth truckers means that you can at least get one hazard up pretty easily. And the thing I noticed here is they actually have two Trick Room users or Trick Room users and a fair number of Trick Room abusers actually. Are those dragons legal in this format? There's like Drampa, there's Mega Ampharos we saw earlier. Even the low tier dragons hit very hard, so you gotta be careful. But yeah, I think that their Trick Room setters are pretty strong. Starmie, it's like a sleeper Trick Room setter. Dusknoir is a Trick Room setter that can abuse it itself. And like Torterra is not a terrible mod in Trick Room. It can also run Shell Smash. Probopass actually appreciates Trick Room, and I wouldn't say Amoonguss needs Trick Room, but it's definitely like it's slow, so you know it can do that.
Yeah, it can use it. It's not really an abuser.
But their high speed tiers are also really good. 135
Mhm.
Manectric,
They
115
have
and
great
95.
distribution overall.
Yeah, very well spread out speed tiers. Overall. Is there any big glaring
They have
weaknesses?
their Fire Water Grass and their Psychic Fighting Dark to be very offensive cores.
Oh yeah,
And
very
I
offensive.
think one of the main issues they'll struggle with is just kind of any breaker that can actually hit a Munga super effectively. I don't think because like Starmie has recovery, but is reasonably frail.
Yeah, both of their
And
fire resists are pretty frail. Granted, Houndoom does have flash fire, so it can really punish someone just clicking a fire move recklessly. But
yeah, but that's I think a lot of their Pokemon are either frail or are reasonably bulky, but have very obvious weaknesses, like with Torterra or Probopass. Um, and like Probopass doesn't have recovery, Dusknoir doesn't have real recovery. So specifically, a breaker that can break Amoonguss really easily, I think is going to be their major downfall.
well, and in the same vein, their ground and flying weaknesses overlapping each other. Every mon that resists flying or ground is weak to the other.
Yeah,
So that's gonna be like if there's a mon that gets both coverage, like both flying and ground. Like say for example, not that this would be a set people run, but like Swords Dance Gligar kind of choose for this
yeah.
team. So
As SD and agility, it's going to be dual dance Gligar,
Dual
and
Dance
this shit is
Gligar,
going to
it's
die.
Azzy's worst nightmare. Actually, he's the one who has Gligar, so you know he's probably safe from that.
Yeah,
But I know he's notorious for losing to Dual Dance Gliscor. Um, yeah,
we're going to check the schedule, and as he's facing him, and we just swear
I.
he's a
um,
few motherfuckers.
what do you think of this team? I'm kind of tempted to put it in B, because it has 2 dogs, but I also feel like it could be like A or S even. I don't think it's a bad team. I just think it has some clear flaws.
I think it's like high B or low A, where I don't think there's
You know what?
overly
I'm gonna put this right next
abusable
to Azzy.
weaknesses.
I'm gonna put it in front of Azzy so that he has the inclination of the Gliscor fear there. I think that's appropriate. Too bad Gligar is ass. Dang. Oh, that's on the not a real mon counter. That's a +1 on the not a real mon counter. I think that's the second time Gligar's been mentioned on this counter.
Gligar is a large contender for, like, there's a couple people who think it's absolutely terrible, and there's a couple of people who think it's fantastic, and so it is always in contention.
It's always in contention. Oh, the Gligar slander goes hard. Up next is Dorky. Or sorry, no, this is Royce. Is Dorky? No, Dorky didn't. Oh, he did play. Okay. Dorky and Royce, I just want to get them mixed up because they both kind of have similar draft styles. But
These
this
are
is
some
Royce.
fucking threats.
Yeah, this team is very scary. First of all, Sinistcha is another mon that I'm like, this thing might just choose for this format. It is a pain in the ass to prep for. Granted, there's no Terra like in some other leagues where it really like runs away with games, but you know, definitely something you have to respect. Reggie Drago is gonna make those teams that don't have a fairy type like shit bricks. Like
it is gonna be miserable.
It's gonna be a nightmare for them to play against. Their fairy type is Carbink, which was they picked this up surprisingly early, but I can't even blame them because it being a fairy type with such just raw defensive stats and utility is surprisingly relevant in a lot of matchups. And then they've got a lot of draft staple mons like Mudsdale, Clawitzer, a lot of low tier heroes, I would say, in my books.
The Raptor is a demon to deal with in a regular season.
I will say
Staraptor is going to be a fucking problem.
One thing I noticed is that Staraptors are only defogger, only form of removal, and they kind of have they don't have a rock weakness, but they do have a couple mons that really don't like rocks, like Mega Houndoom.
Yeah.
So
I cannot imagine they ever remove rocks. They are probably just going to ignore them and try to kill the opponent. Even Reggie Drago, though, it's not weak to rocks, but in the fairy matchups, Dragon Energy is such a strong move where having rocks up is going to weaken you just by default, which will be unfortunate.
Lowering the power of Dragon Energy is a little bit unfortunate. Their weaknesses aren't actually that bad. They technically have a dark weakness because they only have 2 resists. They do have a couple NFEs that also really don't want to take knockoff, so they do have to be careful of that. But it's not the worst. And like they do have 2 ghost types, which is the reason why they have such a dark weakness. Same with their ghost weakness as well. Just a little bit having that extra ghost type means it's harder to cover that weakness. Let me just replay my music 1 second. Go back to the start. There we go. So that is notable, and then technically a nice weakness, but that's just because they have a bunch of resist and a bunch of weaknesses. So I don't think it's really that big of a problem.
They have a lot of doubling up. They got the 2 waters, which in this case are both mono water types, which is kind of odd. But they got the 2 waters, 2 grass, 2 ghost.
Yeah, Clamperl and Clawitzer is really weird to me because they're both kind of slow offensive special attackers.
Actually,
right?
Speaking of slow, I'm looking at the speed tiers right now. They have a good amount of Trick Room setters, so like they might be leaning hard into that. But that is a slow overall team.
Yeah, very slow.
At least Reggie Drago is a great Scarf user, but that's pretty tough.
Yeah, they do have good Scarfers. I do think the 110 and 115 is pretty okay in this format. It's not as bad as it would be in other formats, but it does look like they're kind of leaning into a Trick Room plan with some of these slower tiers. I think Dublade, like Swords Dance and Trick Room is pretty strong. I think Clamperl is a Trick Room nightmare. Because you can just run Deep Sea Tooth or whatever it is. The item that doubles the special attack. And just click attack moves.
Clawitzer is a fucking demon breaker in Trick Room.
Clawitzer's got a weird speed tier where it's actually surprisingly fast at 59. But against offensive teams, you can run Trick Room, and against bulky teams, you can run Specs. And just like run fast Specs. So, and like even Executor is not a terrible Trick Room user.
It's probably going to be their main Trick Room setter. Either that or Sinistra, where I imagine Executor is going to click Trick Room and then Leaf Storm eject pack out into something else.
I will say my one comment about this team is that it's got not a great defensive backbone. It's very reliant on Mudsdale and like some type of AV mon to really be like the defensive core here.
Yeah.
And with all the water type, like I guess they're only ever going to really bring one mono water type, but there's a lot of like grass and water weaknesses, even though it doesn't look like it. It's just like a lot of their common Pokemon are incidentally going to not want to deal with water or grass moves.
Yeah,
and
I think it's another one of those struggles against dual types because, like, even if they have something that resists water, does it resist water and flying? Does it resist whatever? And they also are another slow team that lacks a lot of real recovery. It's kind of only Sinistra and Executor. I think Executor gets Synthesis.
Well, Sinistra has Strength Sap. Executor has like Leech Seed and other type of moves.
Synthesis or something, yeah.
Technically, Mudsdale doesn't mind running
all
Rest
they have.
sometimes, and Staraptor does have Roost, but like that doesn't really count. That's kind of like stretching the limit of like what reliable recovery means. I'm gonna put them in A. I think this team is this was Royes. I think this team is good. I think it's very offensive leading, and I think it's going to destroy some matchups. But I do think it does not really have a concrete defensive plan, which that's what all gas no break is you're going full offense. You will have a nightmare to prep for, and if your opponent has threats, that's a problem to think about later. So.
Yeah, I think I would lean a little bit more towards B because it has abusable weaknesses and it like struggles against mid to fast tier mons. But definitely, I do think.
Did they commit to a bit? I don't think Royes was rolling anything or anything like that. So none of the memes here, at least.
Yeah, I am more thinking about it in terms of like tiers rather than the actual all gas categorization.
I've been missing chat this whole time. When logged in. What the heck, Mr. New Name? You know what you should do to make up for that?
New name.
New name. Yeah. You should definitely. So sad. You should definitely like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure to give your Twitch Prime if you have it.
How do you like a Twitch?
It's follow, not like, but whatever.
But then you lied. Malpractice.
Hey, when this goes on YouTube, it'll make more sense, Bro thinks I have Twitch Prime. Damn. What the heck? Thank you for the follow. Wait, you weren't following until now? What were you doing?
What? It's L new name. In theory, it's a new account.
He was in chat the other day. He wasn't following. Oh my god, this fake fan. Okay. Up next is my roster. I'm gonna defend my roster real quick, and then I'll let you tear it to bits. So, oh my god, also thank you for the follower.
The format is tearing your thing to bits.
Oh yeah.
What the fuck was that?
Dude, I have terrible typing skills, okay? Don't at me. Get your pitchforks, yep. So, I did exclusively spin wheel spins for my roster. Did you do... No, we did, we watched that game yesterday. Unless that's Ryan's, actually. No, wait. Wait, Ryan, are you playing in this league? I believe we rated your roster earlier.
Yeah, Ryan, we did.
Yeah, we put you in, actually S tier. We thought your team was really good. Very, very offensive. Yeah, you can watch the VOD. We can go over it later, too. But we do want to try and get through all the rosters before it gets too late. This is my roster. I did exclusively wheel spins on Stormtide's amazing draft wheel pick. What do we got? Oh boy, it learns a pivot move. Woo! Notably, I documented all of my picks on the spin wheel by posting a picture of what I landed on in the general chat during stream or during the draft day. And the only exception is I had one mulligan, and I think I used it when I got mono psychic type because my first pick was Azelf, and I was like, nah, fam.
Mhm.
And then I looked at my roster after the draft was done. I was like, wow, this is dog shit. So then I spun 5 more times to roll my trades, and you documented my trades as I was doing them and saw kind of the progress. I think I literally picked up a Hunch Crow and then immediately traded it away again because it fit one of the categories. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I was all over the place, but by the end of it, I think I had a really good roster. I'm very happy with what came about. My first 2 picks, Azelf and Mega Heracross. Um, I'm so happy to have these two. I think these two are gonna be awesome in this format. I picked up Tauros and trades. Duraludon I actually sniped from Mr. Soup. It was really funny because me and Soup were talking about what our draft plans were, and I was like, damn, I really need a Stealth Rocker. And it's like, I'm looking at these 2 Steel types, Copperajah and Duraludon. He's like, I really wanted to take Duraludon, and I was like, shit, like I don't want to snipe him, but now I'm like, Duraludon was the one I wanted anyways. So now I feel bad if I take it. And then people started calling me a Johnner. People were like, make a pick. And I was like, you know what? Fine. Screw you, Soup. I'm stealing your Duraludon. And so that was...
Everybody got called a Johnner.
Everyone got called a Johnner. Revivroom I picked up in trades. Knackle Stack I picked up because I think I rolled Learn's Meteor Beam or something like that.
Fantastic small low tier value.
I was looking at
Great.
a lot of rock types, though. A lot of different mons for the Learn's Meteor Beam category. I almost drafted Vanilla Ampharos. So, like, I don't know. That one was a weird pick for me. Togekiss was Lord and Wish. I was so, thank God. I was so happy that I got Togekiss. Because I needed a fairy type or, like, a flying type or something. Palisand was a trade I made. I think I rolled same type as last picked, and the last pick was Ghastly. And then Girafarig was I rolled NFE. So the trades saved my roster from ultimate dismay because one of the things I rolled was Solrock or Lunatone, and I was losing my shit because I had just drafted 2 rock types. I traded away an Omastar that I had picked up earlier, and then I got another rock type, and I was like, nah, dude, I'm not doing this. This mod is getting traded away immediately. So, sorry to all the Solrock and Lunatone believers.
You
but
betrayed me.
I did. I like engagement beta. Was like, hey guys, what's better, Solrock or a Lunatone? Haha. Give your comments in chat so I can pick faster, and then proceeded to not pick for like another 2 hours.
Insert 4-hour Lunatone versus Solon discussion.
That discussion was really funny to look back on. But I'm gonna let you tear my team to bits because I'm pretty high on it, but I don't know what you think.
So there's a lot of things I like about it. The speed tiers are, I think they're pretty spread out. I mean, the 35 to 75 is not ideal, but that's kind of a speed tier that you don't give that much of a shit about. So I think you've got good distribution. You have a lot of really strong threats, and Azelf, Mega Heracross, even Paldea, Aqua, Tauros is genuinely like an offensive threat. Duraludon's going to be sick. Knacklestack is valued. Togekiss is a great Gloomon that also gives you a tiny bit of removal to save your ass. Overall, I think there's a lot of really good pieces, and this is one of those drafts that probably looks scarier if you delete a couple of mons on the draft. Like if you just saw the Azelf, Heracross, Duraludon, Togekiss, and you kind of deleted the in-betweens, this team would look scarier.
You just go like, oh, none of this, and you're like, oh god, what's going on here?
Yeah.
I will say, Knacklestack is real in this format. And,
it's so real, dude.
And Girafarig being an NFE is crazy because this thing was like for the longest time a like final stage evolution. So it has.
It's actually less bulky than I thought it was. It's only 65 defenses.
It's actually more offensive than I remember. Like 90 Spatak is not actually terrible on like a Violite holder. So
yeah,
and 85 speed is actually a really good speed tier randomly.
Yeah, I think your major weakness is going to come in from you have a lot of shared typings. You have 2 Psychic, 2 Fighting, 2 Steel. Togekiss being your only removal, it is consistent, so like it's not even that bad on its own. But if Togekiss goes down, you're gonna have a tough time. Revavroom being your only fairy resist is, I'm not going to say it's not a real mon. It is a very real setup threat, but I don't think it's real as like a defensive. This I want this to be my resist type mon. Um,
I think you're sleeping on Rev Room, but fair. It is really weak to like Earth Power and Fire coverage, so.
yeah, like its special bulk is low, but it does have howling. No, what the fuck is that called? The pivot move that
Parting Shot.
makes you zoom out. Yeah, parting shot.
Dude, I'm still so mad that, the car Pokemon doesn't have U-turn. Like, wait. Actually, I got the proof. You got your Nissan coming through, and it does a U-turn. Woo! That's a car. Cars learn U-turn. Come on, like.
It should have learned a steel type U-turn, and it should have been spelled Y-O-U.
Spin out should have been a U-turn. U-turns are illegal in Paldea. That's not gonna stop me, dude. If I'm driving down the street in my Revavroom, I'm doing a U-turn whenever the hell I feel like it. Hello. So. And like the bike Pokemon will get U-turn too. So like poor Revavroom.
But generally, you're lacking some pivots. It's really just Azelf and I guess Revavroom, and Togekiss. I think gets Baton Pass. So like those are kind of your 3 pivots. So you're struggling a little bit in terms of like your type distribution and getting some of your common roles. But overall, you have some very scary Pokemon that I think work together well enough that if you just ignore parts of your draft depending on what the matchup is, I think you're going to have a pretty good time.
We already know George is going to waste an slot on Inject Pack this season. Hey. As long as it works. As long as it works,
Oh, I guess, no, Duraludon would probably be a prime Eject Pack user.
Now, I will say, I do think the whole, you have duplicate types argument is a little bit not as relevant as people make it out to be. Especially because if you look at the types that I have overlap on and you look at their weaknesses, like, I do kind of have a fairy weakness because I have 2 fighting types, but, like, my flying matchup is really good. My psychic matchup is really good, so the fighting types are pretty well supported. The psychic types, I have a pretty good dark and ghost matchup, so I have lots of, like, ways to deal with those types. And, like, my steel types, I have no ground weakness, right? Like, which is more than we can say about a lot of other rosters this season. Azelf being a Levitate-mon is huge for this team. So
yeah, that's definitely when I talk about multiple of the same type. I'm usually talking about like opportunity costs, because whether or not they have the resist on the type chart is going to be. You can just look at the type chart. The number of steel types you have don't matter, except for the opportunity cost of you're not getting something else.
Well, in Duraludon, actually, Duraludon and Revavroom only really share a ground weakness. They kind of like cover a lot of their other weaknesses with their secondary typings. So it's not actually that bad having double steel. And then Heracross and Mega Tauros, or Mega Heracross and Tauros, they don't like necessarily cover each other's weaknesses, but they have really useful dual typings that are more important than the fighting types, defensively speaking. So, yeah, I don't think it's that big of a deal having the type overlap. And, like, even Girafarig is a ghost immune, whereas Azelf is weak to grass, or weak to ghost, so...
Yeah. And I think the other part is, I guess, like, you're just not going to run them together very often. Like, Mega Heracross and Tauros have the flying, psychic, and fairy shared weakness, which, if you run them on the same team, is going to be pretty tough if they have, like, a good fairy type.
I mean, is
as long
like,
as
I could run both these and still have, like, two flying resists or 2 psychic resists. Like, I have... That's what I'm saying is, like, even though, like, sure, they're the same type defensively, I have really good ways to cover for both of them. And, nothing's worse than getting rid of one CC spammer and just barely surviving it and then having the second one come in. So...
yeah, definitely the shared offensive pressure can be pretty good as well.
Chat, let me know what you think. I personally think my team is S tier. I don't know how I got so lucky in my last tier trades. I did commit to the bit, though, so I might have to put myself in B for, just being in the bit of only spinning wheels.
Well, I guess the real question is how much are you committing to the bit of the tier lists?
What do you mean by the bit of the tier list?
Because the tier list
The bit.
isn't really following tiers;
You know
it's
what? Fine. You know what?
following
I'm in the bit. I'm the
categorizations.
most committed to the bit outside of someone else who's also equally A plus
There we
minimum.
go. He's locked
Home
in. He's
gas, no
B tier.
brakes in Rever Room. Oh, true. Okay, that is actually funny.
You
What
gotta
if
choose your bit.
um, you know, I have to go in A. I have to go in A actually. The all gas, no brakes. I did the car thing on stream. You know, I recently for my birthday I bought myself the Lego set, the Nissan Fast and Furious Paul Walker Lego set. So probably estimating how much you care about pivots and removal. That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, I bought myself for my birthday the Paul Walker's Nissan and built that Lego set. So shout outs to my birthday. Shout outs. Yeah, I'll put myself in A. It's not a Supra. No, it's a Nissan. It's the what is it? Nissan Skyline, not a Supra. There we go. My bad. I'm a fake fan. Everyone call me a fake Fast and Furious fan in the comments.
Oh, he's a fake fan.
But yeah, I'm really happy with my team. I can't believe how carried I got by trade-ins though, because I know you and Mr. No Nut Plus are the big trade-in believers, and I usually just don't bother to trade in first thing in the season, and I got completely carried by trade-ins. So
I'm in one of two categories. Either I finish my draft and I never trade a single thing, or I'm constantly trading. Ooh, let's make adjustments as much as possible. There's no in between.
Yeah, no, it's crazy watching you and Lucas like make trades and then immediately say, but what if I made more trades? And I'm like losing my mind. Like, what do you mean make more trades? You're supposed to trade to fix your roster. Why do you need to trade again?
It's always, but I see this new mod and I'm excited about it. I want to play it.
Up next, this is Stormtide. Mr. Stormtide, NHL Commissioner Stormtide. Double Dragon. This team looks really cool. I don't know how good it is, but it looks cool. I'm pretty sure Stormtide also committed to the wheelspin bit, seeing as he made it himself. But I could be wrong. He might have just drafted Monty Light.
I think this is also a rain team in disguise.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we got two Swift Swimmers. There's probably something on here that wants to set Thunder on Zerkatry is probably a huge threat. And yeah, he's got two of the most
Armor Rouge.
The most highly anticipated NFPs, I think, in this format, Glimmet and Clefairy, outside of like the ones
Who
that
the
are.
fuck is anticipating Clefairy? What?
Dude, have you not seen this Clefairy slander? Never mind.
I think I'm about to participate in it. What do you mean Clefairy hype?
Well, that's what I mean. Like, people either love or hate Clefairy. They're like, oh, Clefairy's such a good load tier. I'm like, dude, I would rather like shoot my Pokemon in the head than have to draft a Clefairy. I'm actually adding that Clefairy is not a real mon. I don't think Clefairy is real, but it has definitely done more work than it really should in previous seasons. So
I mean, why would you ever draft Clefairy if like Wigglytuff is on the table?
Dude, Wigglytuff is okay. Wigglytuff, I'm not saying Wigglytuff is better than Clefairy, but Wigglytuff is like so bad. It's only good if you need to check a Dragapult, okay? Actually, you know what? I'm adding another not a real mon. Yeah, Wigglytuff is cheeks. Not a real mon.
It's reasonable. I've used it.
The only thing it does is it has like 140 base HP
comparison. In the 1v1 comparison to Clefairy, you cannot argue that Clefairy is more usable.
Clefairy has better results. That's what I'll say. We have seen Clefairy do more in actual games than Wigglytuff. Yeah, and apparently Roy Ace 1v1'd Naheima's Kyurem with a Clefairy, so...
I think that says more about Naheima than it says about Clefairy.
Sheesh! Okay, well, we'll save that for another day. But, yeah, this team is sick. Double Dragon is gonna chew through these teams that are weak to Dragon. Like, we've seen a bunch of rosters today that have no Dragon Resist, have very bad Dragon Resists, and Mega Sceptile Kingdra are going to rip through them. I like the pseudo rain angle, like you said. Snorlax, I think, is a really good pick in this format. Any thoughts on Snorlax?
Snorlax is good as hell. What?
Yeah, okay.
That's my thoughts.
That's
Like
it,
it's
yeah.
a fantastic SPDEF unit. Normal types with thick fat are great to pair with so many Pokemon like Mega Sceptile. Um, it doesn't offer like a ton of utility, but it's a great bruiser. It's a great setup threat. It's really fucking annoying if you don't have a way to break it, especially like if you try to go toxic and it just uses rest or has immunity.
Dude,
You're
immunity
suddenly not having a good time.
immunity is brutal sometimes. I've also seen Gluttony be a relevant ability on like belly drum sets. So
For sure.
yeah, not something you can really sleep on. Seismitoad was a mon I actually almost traded. I offered to trade Stormtide for, and was like, damn, he doesn't want to give it away. I can't even blame him. This month's really good in this format. Honchkrow, I actually mentioned Honchkrow earlier because I traded for it and then immediately traded it back in, and then apparently Stormtide picked it up. So it's a cool mon. It's his only defogger, unfortunately, which is a little bit of a mute.
Not
like,
ideal.
Not ideal because he does have Armorers that he really wants to support with removal. Notably, Glimmet does not get Mortal Spin like its evolution does. So it's not actually a removal mon. So do keep that in mind. But outside of Armor Rouge and Honchkrow, a lot of the team kind of ignores hazards because Clefairy has Magic Guard, Seismitoad resists, and the others don't particularly care too much. So
Yeah. And that's Honchkrow really doesn't want to be a defogger because it doesn't even really want to run boots. It wants to run like Scarf or Band
or Life
or
Orb.
maybe boots if it's like an SD type set.
I think it gets both SD and Nasty Plot, so I could be wrong.
I think so, yeah, because Murkrow has Nasty Plot. Yeah, it really wants to be an offensive threat whenever possible, and if it's being forced to defog, or even if it's being forced to run boots, it's not having a great time.
Oh, it does not get Swords Dance. I thought I got Swords Dance,
really?
huh? Well, anyways, Nasty Plot is still a huge threat. Rock's the only hazard I think is real confirmed. I mean, like, Spike Stacks is okay, but, like, this team is going to be better at setting hazards, I think, than most other teams if you bring Glimmet. So when this team wants to set hazards, your opponent has to worry more about it than you do. So, like, unless you're getting into a spike stacking war and your opponent has spin and you don't, I think most of the time you just want to make sure you cover for Armor Rouge, cover Stealth Rocks for Armor Rouge, and then the rest of it doesn't care too much.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have, like, a lot of longevity, so if there are spikes down, it is a problem for kind of everybody, but that's at least not, like, it's not more of a problem for some things than it is for others.
Mm-hmm.
Spikes are just good.
Look, I'm just saying, 70 HP Wish Clefairy is better than Raichu. Okay, so we've definitely seen worse Wish Passers in other teams.
It's better than Pikachu.
Everything's better than Pikachu, bro. Pikachu is a you run Light Ball and you click Volt Tackle or whatever crazy coverage moves Pikachu gets because it gets like Extreme Speed and Surf and you name it, it gets it. Pikachu is an offensive demon, but not a defensive mon ever. So, yeah. What do you think about the ratings? I think Double Dragon kind of has to put it in All Grass No Breaks. Although, honestly, it should probably go in Bit Commitment because Mr. Stormtide is the reason that we have our lovely wheel spin. Maybe we need a separate tier for him. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna do that. Let's add it. Let's add a tier for him. He's the progenitor of the bit. And look at all this analysis. By the way, the tiers aren't real. Yeah.
I didn't choose this life.
Oh no, I renamed the wrong thing. Okay, this is
You bastard. But also, wait, what letter are you associating with progenitor of the bit? Like,
it's P tier, obviously.
We're gonna have P tier?
Yeah, it's between S and A.
P tier is between S and A.
Yeah. That's how this works.
Babk.
And this gets a purple. This gets a magenta. Easy. We actually got to put him above B tier. So you have the bit, and then we have the progenitor of the bit. You know, the J tier. Yeah, exactly. It's like the J tier. J tier is above S, by the way, just in case you're wondering. Yeah, no, I like this team. I do think it has a couple of glaring weaknesses. Its speed tiers could be a little bit more well-rounded. But with Swiss
That's the
Swim
Spadaf.
available, with weak armor, armor rouge, and Mega Sceptile being 145, I think it's like the fastest thing in the format outside of Ninjas. Like, it's the fastest Mega, I'm pretty sure, because the other 150 Megas aren't in the format. I think Speed Ties Mega Beedrill, I believe. So.
Yeah, it's definitely the fastest Mega that I'm aware of.
And Snorlax and Seismitoad are doing a lot of work as a defensive backbone here, more than you might expect. So don't sleep on
They
those
also
two.
they have very little in terms of physical presence. There's kind of Snorlax and Honchkrow, and everything else is hitting specially. Maybe Kingdra sometimes it does have DD options.
Seismitoad does have higher attack than special attack.
It just never wants to use it.
And
Having
Kingdra
built
is equally
Seismitoad a
physical
lot,
and special.
yeah,
D-Dance, Kingdra is a real set, so don't sleep on that.
yeah. DD Kingdra is real, but I do think the draft definitely has a lot of like obvious weaknesses that can be abused. So it is a result of the bit.
Yeah, I would put it in B tier normally, but I think that Stormtide is the creator of our lovely wheel and deserve recognition for that, in my totally legitimate and, impactful tier list. Up next, this is Luke Nukem.
Who has like the worst schedule of anybody.
Does he actually? Wait, what's his schedule?
It's not good.
Oh no, not our boy. Gensuzu, Ryan. Oh my god. But he plays like
The worst player is like me or Lucas.
Chad,
Like,
who's
the
worse?
worst
Who's
player
who's
on your
worse?
schedule.
Let's
As far as I know, Ryan's pretty good. So I'm like, either Lucas or I are washed. And if that us being washed is your easiest matchup, that's a pretty rough schedule.
I mean, a free win's a free win, right? So it depends on the day. First initial impression of this roster, they've got some big threats. Zarude, Toxtricity, Lucario are actually very, very real threats, especially in this format. Their speed
love
tiers are really
Toxtricity.
good. I think this is the best speed tiers we've seen pretty much all day.
Pretty good distribution overall, yeah.
Yeah, Talonflame being fast and everything and having priority. Zarude being 105 is a huge benchmark in this format. They also have the 195s. And like even Lucario at 90 is still a very good speed tier in this format. They also
have some of the best hazard control overall.
Oh my god.
Varied setters as well as multiple types of removal.
Yup. T-Spikes is a good addition to this team. Sandslash is, I think, an underrated gem in this format. It's very Donphan-esque, being both a defensive ground type and a spinner, and having offensive sets when it needs to. And like I like a lot of their like low tier picks. Like Dunsparce is a very, very big threat. It gets a Violite. It has a lot of random utility coverage moves. It gets Roost, so it has recovery.
It's wait, I was about to say it's a Wish user, but I don't think that's true. I was about to lie.
No, I don't think it does. No.
Misinformation on the internet.
Me when I lie? What? Speaking of hazard control, Xatu is right here. Xatu gonna dissuade a lot of hazards. Xatu is also very fast, which a lot of people can sleep on, which makes it very annoying for utility purposes. Xatu is a Wish user. Fair.
That is true.
I don't think they need a Wish user, but like they definitely do have them because they have Talonflame with Roost. Jellicent has recovery. Comfey has got Draining Kiss and Synthesis. This has got Roost. This has got Roost. So
if anything, it's to like Wish into Sandslash or like Wish into Toxtricity or like one of the attackers. So
or like if your Life Orb Lucario takes a lot of chip, you can heal it back up. And like Zarude has jungle healing, so it's got its own shenanigans. Now I know you are like the #1 Toxtricity Glazer. What do you think of this as a Toxtricity roster?
I fucking love Toxtricity, dude. The main thing you really need for Toxtricity to work is just slow pivots. That's your main concern. Is Toxtricity cannot switch in on shit except for like maybe fairy types that don't have psychic. They do have a lot of pivots. don't have a lot of slow pivots, which is a little bit awkward, unless like Dunsparce gets baton pass or something.
Let's double check what gets baton pass. But their team is very fast, which kind of makes the whole slow pivot thing. It does get
Okay,
baton pass. Zatu
so
also
so
having a
like
baton pass instead of U-turn is an interesting option.
yeah, but if they are playing towards this toxicity, it can absolutely be a demon.
I think
Um,
if anything, this team is playing towards Zarude. I think Zarude is gonna like be the big sweeper, and Toxtricity is gonna like punch a hole for Zarude to clean up.
yeah, and that's whether it's a root or Talonflame, they're gonna clean pretty well. But Toxicity is gonna be their early game, punch a massive fucking hole in whatever their wall is, and it's gonna be a good time. This looks like a pretty good team.
Is there any like notable weaknesses here? I do see they have a fairy type and a like they have a really good dragon matchup. They technically have an ice weakness, but like their ice resists are really like Jellicent being an ice resist is huge. And like it's just because they have Zatu and Sandslash as two different removal options that are weak to ice.
They
Um,
struggle slightly against like Bolt Beam specifically, rather than just one of them, like the pair.
mm,
Um,
mm.
Comfy is like kind of the best Bidef option for that. Maybe Dunsparce actually, because of the Eviolite is bulky enough that it's their other Bolt Beam
Yeah, that's fair.
option.
I think this team is like an easy A, maybe an S, but
It seems pretty strong to
the
me.
offense is really good.
I
Um,
also think it's admittedly going to be very pilot heavy, because like whenever you're using frail fast threats like Talonflame or Toxtricity, or even Zatu is surprisingly frail. Like, um, you know, it's a very good team, but you also have to be able to pilot it. It's very punishable as well, so you got to be
mhm.
careful of it.
Yeah, and I think I like their couple of low tiers here, but I do feel like there's a little bit of like support missing for Jellicent. Um, so I
Yeah,
think,
they're definitely hoping Jellicent to be the support of other things rather than supporting it.
and I think generally speaking, the team is also very specially defensive leaning, even though they do have some physical defensive things in Zarude and Sandslash. I just think that like um, most of their team prefers to be Spadef leaning, which can kind of be exploited um,
A lot of
easily.
70s.
Yeah, but like the things that have like they have like low base HPs on a lot of the like you know I think
Yeah,
Fizdef Jellicent will probably be brought a lot, which is a good
we're going to
set,
see a lot of that for
but
sure.
it is definitely something your opponent can exploit. So you gotta be careful of that. I'm gonna put them in A. I'm gonna put them below myself. Totally not just glazing myself. Um, lowest average
That is
stats
the
in the season.
way.
No, the lowest average I think is Azzy easily. I think Azzy has the lowest average. Um, so
Yeah, 492 is not that low.
it's not that low by standards here. What do we have next? Neon. This team. Oh my god, what is going
This
on
team
here?
really decided I fucking love flying types.
Oh my god. Okay.
I was very surprised to not see any grace trade-ins for this team. Four flying types is a lot of flying types.
I don't hate this team, but I have no idea what's going on. Like, um,
It's leaning very heavily into a trick room playstyle for sure.
is it? They've got two really fast flying type breakers. Bascule
Typically
Legion
with
often runs like Choice Scarf. Um,
typically with trick room, you do want like one or two fast mons outside of trick room so that you're not just dead in the water. Um, but they like Stakataka and Namorous are two of the best trick room abusers in the format. Um, Rescue Legion's a little bit fast, but against offensive teams can absolutely run like negative speed zero IVs to take advantage of it.
oh
Even
wait.
Claydol has some good setup options
Oh,
that it
I
can
thought Enamorous got Trick Room,
use
but it
itself.
doesn't actually get Trick Room. Okay.
No, it cannot set for itself.
Um, yeah, I think this team is basically do you have a flying resist? Like, there's a lot of teams we saw that don't have great flying resists. And if you don't have a great flying resist, Tornadus and Noivern are going to just like keep clicking attacks into your team, and you're going to be um, kind of screwed. This team does have a very high natural BST, which is funny. Um, 540 in low tier is crazy, yeah.
Yeah, this team has a pretty strong rocks weakness, of course. They're probably just gonna run a fuck ton of boots. Because like they do have rapid spin and Claydol
They
and
do
a
also
few
have
defog
like 3
users.
defogger. Yeah. I'm surprised they
Two
only
of them,
have 2 rock setters though. But I guess it's all
yeah.
you really need most of the time.
If I'm them though, I probably like other than spin on Claydol, I probably don't run removal and I just run boots because there's too many flying types to try to run that shit all the time. And other than Articuno, the other two don't usually want to bring defog. They want to be more offensive.
Mm-hmm. Now, I will say, this team actually has surprisingly good defensive mons. Diplin, as much as it does have like a quad ice weakness, which is a notable weak point for this team, is the ice weaknesses. It is a very good defensive wall with recovery. Articuno is also notoriously difficult to kill sometimes if you don't have super effective moves to hit it. So like these two mons are very defensive. They have good like Stakataka is a physical monster that if you don't have a super effective move can tank a hit, set up Trick Room, and sweep. So I don't hate that. I think there's a lot of pressure on Basque Legion to be a middle speed tier offensive threat. So I do think that's a little bit of a weak point because they either have blisteringly fast or like Trick Room slow. And
nothing in the middle tiers.
And Basque Legion being in the middle.
Legion
Articuno also is probably not going to run a lot of speed most of the time, unless it's like I guess you could run like Specs Articuno, but it's got a little bit of some obvious holes, but I don't entirely hate it. I think it's got some very individual threatening mons, and how Neon kind of pieces them together is going to really dictate how their season goes. How bad is their schedule? I know we've seen some people who have really interesting rosters who have terrible schedules. Azzy, Gensuzu, Ryan, they've got a killer schedule too. Oh my god.
That is not ideal for them. I did not see that one.
Because Dorky is a very accomplished player. Ryan obviously just won NHL, beat me in the finals, and then Azzy and Gensuzu are two of the most well-accomplished, solid players around, give or take when Azzy is choking or not. But yeah, I think this probably goes in C tier. They could cook a bit more. I like what they got, but I think it's like,
yeah, I like a lot of the ideas.
It's
but
basically
the
got two. It's got two
together.
seasonings, but it doesn't have any of the meat to hold it together. It's like they really wanted to have their spicy Trick Room stuff, and they really wanted the salty, savory, fast threats. But if you just have spicy and savory, and there's no meat to hold it together, it's just gonna burn your tongue.
You gotta have some potatoes in your stew, bro.
Yeah, you need some potatoes in your stew. So I think like Claydol as a ground type potato is doing work here, but they need a bit more carrots. They need a nice water type. I guess they have Basque Legion, but you know what I mean. But that type of middle ground water type that doesn't want to just be an offensive threat. So, yeah, I'm gonna put this in C tier. I don't think it's quite as good as Lethal Blues or Leezy's, but definitely not something you can sleep on. This team has got a lot of threats, and it just needs a little bit more glue, a little bit more bread and potatoes to hold it all together. Up next is Gotor, who has come out of retirement, quote unquote, to play this season.
This is such a Gotor build.
Yeah, dude, I saw him pick up Blastoise, and I was like, oh... I saw the first pick Blastoise, I was like, oh boy, it's probably over. This, I think, is contender for not just player-wise best team in the league, but, also just, synergy, type, roll compression. It does notably only have one Stealth Rocker in Mega Steelix, which is very out of place for Gotor. I know he usually likes to have good setters, and then we'll skimp on the removal. But instead, he has 2 spinners and only 1 setter.
Yeah. Plus, I don't think Hitmonlee is ever running Rapid Spin. And even Blastoise is going to be a 50-50 whether or not it's trying to be utility or smashing.
I mean, AV Hitmonlee is a real set, so don't sleep on that. But, yeah, it's usually wanting to run Unburden. And he has the Grassy Terrain setter with Thwacky. Thwacky being a actual low-tier demon. I think it's it terrorizes NU free or RU whatever the lower tiers. It terrorizes frequently. Driftblim also being a
80?
terrain abuser.
Yeah, Thwacky 85 attack, 80 speed with the Grassy Surge damage boost is like not that bad at all.
Yeah, Grassy Surge is nuts, and like it's an NFE that often runs like not a Violate. It runs like Choice Band, Choice Scarf. Like it can run offensive items very very well.
Mhm.
Um, Also, speaking of offense, he has two very good high speed tiers in Delphox and Kilowattrel. He has two really strong Wish Passers in Florges and Delphox. And he's got a lot of fat Mons that are just going to be absolute tanks. Mega Steelix loves tanking moves. Guzzlord has got 223 base HP, which is absurd. Um, yeah, like, I don't know. There's something, like, really apparently flawed. There is a bit of a ghost weakness, just
Yeah,
because you have Driftblim and
I think
Delphox.
I think the lack of ghost resist is going to be the only reason Guzzlord ever really sees play, is because he just really needed a dark type. But if it wasn't for that, Guzzlord is not usually very bringable.
Mm-hmm. There is a little bit of a rock weakness, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. Kilowattrel can run boots easily. Delphox, if it's like defensive boots, it's not the worst. And like with two spinners, you're not really caring about that rock weakness a lot.
Mhm.
There's also a little bit of an ice weakness. Oh, but like with the two starter mons being their ice resists, that's also like not as bad as it could be.
Yeah, it's also worth noting that like both Thwacky and Driftblim, which are ice weaknesses, and Driftblim being one of the rock weaknesses, like those are both mons that are not going to come to every game and are just going to be the occasional slot-ins.
They're gonna be the you don't have a check to unburden. Oh, you don't have a check to unburden Driftblim, so I'm going to bring it and sweep you, right? So
Yeah, or I really want the surge for something.
yeah.
And so like I don't know if them contributing to the weaknesses is that big a deal.
Well, I mean, even if you ignore the last four, right? Because these three are like the terrain abusers, and then Arbok is like the 1 point matchup check for some things you need intimidate poison type for. The first six are a nightmare to prep for. They are very solid. Very lots of different game plans you can run with all of them. Like you can run Shell Smash Blastoise, you can run Pivot Defensive Blastoise. Mega Steelix is going to do Mega Steelix things. Florges can Wish Pass to the rest of the team, or I can even run like Calm Mind setup. Delphox can run Scarf specs, defensive sets, offensive sets, and then Guzzlord is just like it's surprisingly hard to beat through sometimes. Even though it is like I think it's a 1 pointer, but it is definitely not a mon you can sleep on. It has a lot of stats, so
It's also got good coverage. Like it can kind of hit anything. Its main problem is just like it doesn't have a way to boost damage. It doesn't have the strongest stab options,
yeah.
and it's got low defenses. So like you really have to EV to a specific matchup.
I think this
But
team is better than Gensu's is where I'd rate this.
it is super scary. Also, Goder is notably like really good at using the Kilowattrel types. Earlier with one of the other players, we were talking about like Talonflame and how it is like potentially really scary, but also very punishable. I
Yep.
will say I'm not a player that can use Talonflame types very well. Goder can use them very well.
Well, and he's notorious for running away with games because of the thunderous forms. And Kilowattrel doesn't quite have the setup options that they have, but very similar vein. Also, seeing Goder with a Blastoise, he loves setup moves. So Blastoise is a huge threat that way. Same with the two terrain abusers as well. So definitely not something to sleep on at all. Definitely, I think this is the team to beat this season. I think Gensuzu has a couple more like glaring holes that Mike doesn't. Mr. Goder doesn't. So yeah, I would definitely put this as
Goder's like only a real weakness as far as like team building is that if you have a taunt user that matches decently into Steelix, you don't have to deal with hazards. That's like your one reprieve.
But yeah, Mike has frequently said, why would you even bother with hazards? And just decided not to run them to force his opponent to prep for it, and he doesn't bother. So that is like kind of his philosophy sometimes. So I can understand why he has low hazards, but having a poison type that doesn't have T spikes is kind of a missed opportunity, I think here. because T-Spikes would help a
Yeah.
lot.
I think, funnily enough, the Arbok is there more to absorb T-Spikes than it is for
Yeah,
anything else.
yeah, absolutely. Um,
Yeah,
I will
definitely,
say,
this is a top contender. for
Gotor
sure.
did not use the wheel. Okay, he drafted like he was playing seriously. Okay, none of the memes here. So I think his roster really shows. Arbok, does it really?
It might be it gets it in Gen 9, because I don't think that team builder has updated
Oh, it does
to
get
Gen 9
T-Spikes. Okay,
moves.
it is lying to me. Okay, well then, yeah, the team's even better than we thought. I don't think anything really changes, but yeah.
Yeah. I will say, as you mentioned, the wheel. I'm a big believer that if people want to use the wheel and have fun with it, that is awesome. But also, people should not be pressured into using the wheel or like called
Yeah,
out for it.
exactly. We're
Because
almost
I did
way
not
ahead.
use the wheel at all. That's just not how I have fun with it.
Yeah. I think we're more than 2/3 of the way done. We have like 4 rosters left, and there's 18 total. So, 3/4 of the way done. Up next, this is Mr. NN Plus himself, who I
I
believe did
face
abide
most
by
weeks, so
the
you
wheel
start.
rules because he was my go-to judge for if I'm abiding by the right wheel rules. I'd be like, "Yo, am I allowed to re-roll this?" Or like, "Does this count?" And he'd be like, "Yay or nay." So, big shout outs to for New Name Plus for rocking the wheel gimmick. What is on this team? I see Mega Absol first pick is pretty gas. I like that mon in this format a lot. He's got Pyroar, the OTL pseudo mascot.
What?
Yeah, it's kind of like our mascot. It's the Lions.
Fuck no. I don't respect that Pokemon at all.
Oh, okay. Well, that's another not a real mon counter. Okay, well, we're at 8. I'm actually sure to
You know
reset
its
the
only
counter.
setup move is Howl?
Who cares? Just run specs. Fire and normal are pretty good coverage moves together.
That shit sucks.
Um,
Anyways, go on.
but yeah, really good defensive options: Melodic, Pheasantipity, Drudigan, Rotomo, Bronzong. It was literally end workup, yeah. And I'm actually surprised the hazards are so bad. Only 2 Strockers and a Weber. Really good removal though. Lots of pivots. I think this is the most pivots we've seen all night. Volt switch, flip turn, 3 U-turns. Bunch of baton passes even. You can baton pass Mega Absol, which is I see you're arguing with him in chat. And both both special and physical threats. Ursaring is a Guts user. Mega Absol runs great mix sets. Pyroar is technically a special attacker. Rotom is a special attacker, so. Look at you in chat.
What do you mean I joined after you established the team and logo? I literally was the one who came up with the OTL name for the team. What kind of drugs are you talking about?
This is like the Anakin. You were on the council, but we do not grant you the rank of lion.
This is some revisionist history shit. What the fuck?
Hey, that's Lucas's specialty is revisionist history, or something. Yeah, but anyways, outside of Flame Wars with your bestie, the infighting, yeah, the infighting is crazy. What are your thoughts on this roster? Anything that really stands out to you? Big weaknesses, big strengths.
I think Milotic is an absolute demon in this format. It is really fucking hard to break. It's good utility with pivot and recovery. It is going to be a problem for everybody who faces it. Rotom is also going to be great both defensively to be Hazard, Wisp, Volt Switch, but also Nasty Plot sets are very strong. Volbeat, good utility. Bronzong, absolutely a great setup and defensive Pokemon. I don't know
what the
on
trade
this
situation
team,
was like, but picking up Bronzong late is a huge game for this team. So
yeah. But that's I think Bronzong is going to be a little bit forced into playing like pure utility, more defensive roles, which is a little bit unfortunate.
Really? I don't
But
think so. I think this team has plenty of defensive stuff going on. I don't think um the Bronzong is like gonna be forced. Like I feel like Trick Room or offensive Bronzong is surprisingly bringable on this roster.
in
Um,
this case, I'm mostly saying that because I think like being the only steel type and like the psychic, and being levitate, I think
well, it
just
doesn't.
in order to match up against a lot of types, it ends up being put into
I don't know. Like
more
you have another
defensible.
Levitate Mon. You have another Dragon Resist. Pheasantipity actually, Poison and Steel have a lot of similar type resistances that matter. Um, so I think that those two actually partner together really well. Melodic is a really good partner for Bronzong. Um, so and Rotomo like covers Melodic really well too. So I think that generally speaking, I think that Bronzong, because you have all this redundancy with defensive core here, it can run a lot of fun sets. Um, and I think the real issue though is that this team has enough offensive prowess, because if Absol has a bad matchup and you're forced to rely on like Pyroar, for example, your offensive plans is like Ursaring, which is really slow, or like Specs Rotomo, which is not ideal. So
Yeah, Pheasantipity has like good setup options in order to become an offensive threat, but is at base not the most threatening. So I definitely think you're right. Of like in terms of immediate offensive pressure, he's a little bit lacking.
like unless you're running like Choice Band Pheasantipity, which is a crazy set, or offensive Jardigan, which is not really what it wants to be doing, but it's not the worst. So yeah, I don't know. I think this team is definitely in the bit category because he did the draft, the wheel spin. He was the wheel spin progenitor. In fact, I would almost put him with Stormtide up in like he owned the bit. He helped like make it as impactful as it was during draft. So I think
Yeah, I don't know if he created it. I think he just was confident in giving answers.
yep.
You ask a question, he's like, "Yeah, I'm
He
just
was the
gonna
judge and
say
jury
something."
for the bit. So I think that
Yeah,
puts him in the P tier.
just anybody could have done that though. He
The P
just
tier for plus.
did.
Oh yeah, Papa Drix is in all gas no brakes. We liked your team. It had a lot of offense and had a couple of like defensive holes, but the offensive prowess was I think worthy of A tier. So yeah, and No Nut Plus is in plus tier. So um, with that said, we have 3 teams left, and it's only 6:20. So let's see if we can blaze through these. Now, Overmat technically did follow the bit rules of he rolled, I think, before all of his picks. But by
He just got
God,
the craziest fucking rolls
he had some of
imaginable.
the luckiest rolls I've seen. Yeah, I was like, what do you mean you rolled like steel type and you were mad about that? Like what? So yeah, his team rolls quote unquote. Yeah, Matt and rolls in the same sentence. Wait a minute, where have I seen this before? Um, so yeah, Metagross obviously a great first pick. Sylveon is a great duo here. They did end up getting a Dragon in Altaria. It's not really like this offensive type of Dragon we've seen on other rosters, but it does have that core there. And then he took a really late Mienshao, which I thought was really greedy, but I know Matt is like really good with this mon. He is one of the mons he will say is actually real. Oh shoot.
Check messages, please. Are you getting messaged on Twitch?
1 second. I have to go help my roommate. Thank you for the heads up. I'll be right back.
All right. Well, then I will talk about this roster in the meantime. Uh, what I would not give to have a fucking Gengar against this team, dude. Uh, but overall, it's really good speed distribution. He has multiple consistent rock setters as well as Tentacruel for T spikes. He's got some of the best removal of any team we've seen, in a very consistent spinner and some defoggers that don't hate bringing defog. He's got a good number of pivots of different types that give him redundancy. Give us the behind the scenes. The behind the scenes of what? Hello, hello. Um, he's got a crazy amount of utility, lots of screen setters, lots of knockoff. Um, fucking, this is a scary ass team. He's got like multiple Fizz Def tanks. He's got multiple Spadef tanks. I mean, the only thing that is like maybe a weakness is he's slightly lacking in, real true breakers, but overall, very fucking good. How did preparing the season go? It was a lot of, hey, do you guys want to do this thing? Sure, fuck it, why not? Hey, should we put more thought into this? Nah, fuck it. A lot of decisions were based on the concept of we are doing Cube next season, and a lot of our brain power and energy and effort is going towards making the Cube as good as it can be. And so this season is a lot of like, all right, we're gonna do small things that will help prepare for Cube season, like being a low power season, like removing some of the hazard setter, or not hazards, weather setters. Like those are small things that are hopefully going to help prepare people for Cube. But in terms of like actual effort towards balancing, like, oh, are we going to be really careful that things are in the right tier? Are we going to be really careful that there's uh like everything that should be banned is guaranteed banned or stuff like that? We did not do that.
We are not good at modding. Facts. Hello everyone. I'm back. I helped my roommate out briefly. They're doing well. They just needed a little bit of juice, so literal like mango juice. So, shout outs to eating and taking care of yourself.
But pretty good things to do.
Yeah. Other than did I miss anything about this roster, or are you just chatting about the format as a whole?
I did give my overall thoughts on the roster. Generally speaking, this roster is very fucking scary. It has all the things you want. The only real like weaknesses that I can see is that it's lacking in true breakers, other than like Mian Chao and maybe Choice Man Metagross. And then also it's got a weak Ghost matchup, so I would love to have a Gengar into this motherfucker. But for the most part, it is very strong.
I will say having a Metagross and no ghost checks is a little bit unfortunate. Like, even a single normal type would at least dissuade spamming Shadow Ball all game. So that's a little bit tough. But Matt also loves to just ignore bad type matchups. So, I'm sure that'll come through. The knockoff match weakness also kind of relevant, although the Flame Body on Moltres does help with that. And Mienshao doesn't really mind losing its item against. When's the next Fire game? It'll be tomorrow, so. Ooh, Ghost type slams AB.
Regenerator to be a good knockoff switch in. Mienshao doesn't mind doing that at all.
Ooh, no, Assault Vest! Ah, I'm so scared! Ooh! Yeah, this team I think is really strong, but I also think it's got some overmat weaknesses.
Sylveon is also like a pseudo ghost type, because, click Shadow Ball into me, dumbass.
True.
Okay.
True. I don't know. What do you think? Is this like A tier, B tier? I don't think it's an S tier just because of the ghost weakness. I am surprised how fast this team is, because usually Matt's teams are on the slower side, and compared to other teams we've seen this season, it's actually surprisingly fast. So also no Trick Room really.
I don't know
it's M tier.
If we have enough like real ghost threats in the format for the ghost weakness to be that big of a problem. I think we have like only a couple of.
Saraledge got drafted. I don't know if he's playing against that team. I know I have. Do I have a ghost type? No, that's
You got a Petra run. Oh my god.
That's NBA League. What is on my roster?
You smuggle that into this format.
Mod abuse, mod abuse. Maybe there isn't that many ghost types. I thought there was more.
I think there's like a couple of, bulky, slow ghost types, but
Miss
there are very
Mages
few
actually
like
is what I'm thinking about.
offensive
Miss Mages
threats.
tear through this team. Haunter, unironically, is a giant problem for this team.
I don't
Marowak
know.
is
I
low
think
level.
Haunter loses to a bullet punch.
Bullet punch. I mean, all for Metagross? No, you just Wisp. You Wisp and Pain Split. You 1v1 Metagross. Or something, I don't know. What's the best Poltergeist user? Yeah, Gensuzu has it. There's literally a signature monster ledge right there. So, yeah.
Overall, I think it's very strong. I would probably do S or A.
Okay, I'll put an S. I'm sure Matt will give me a 5-page lecture on why he deserves to be an S if I don't. So, True. We have our last two teams, which are Mr. Soup. Shout out to Mr. Soup, who I sniped their Duraludon. Haha, get owned.
Get fucked.
Okay.
That's a lot of fucking hazards and removal. Oh my god.
I mean, Quagsire having all of them does help, but that's a lot of defog. Holy.
A lot of defog. It's a lot of stealth rocks.
This team's also got very good high-speed tiers. Celebi, being 100 is actually a lot better in this format than it would be in other formats. So definitely not something to sleep on. And Crobat is a really good 130 benchmark that not a lot of things can really shot out and dunked on the same time. It's exactly. Whole spinner is wild. Yeah, it literally is.
Yeah, Crobat also very fucking good mon.
Very good, yes.
Like, it's bulkier than you would expect. Good nasty plot sets. Good. Infiltrator is a fucking really good ability. Surprisingly good coverage. Lots of utility. It's really
got,
like
choice band sets. It's got special nasty plot sets. It does a little bit of everything. Hazards are dumb, and I don't want to see them. Facts. This team has a lot of pivots, too. A lot of U-turners. Volt switch on Electros as well. And it's got a surprising amount of recovery, too. Celebi, Crobat, Quagsire have healing. Drampa has Roost. Chloragolon's got recovery, so...
Illumise has Roost. Electros is, one of the best AV users in the game, and it's just really good at staying alive for a surprising amount of time. Emboar is also actually a fantastic user of all of those pivots. Being able to slow pivot into massive fucking breaker so that Crobat can endgame sweep things is very scary.
You can if you get your Crobat pivot into Reckless Flare Blitz and something dies, love to see it. This team does have a bit of a speed gap between 100. Illuminese I'm not really counting as an 85 speed mon because most of the time it's gonna be prankstering things. But then you go to 65 and below, so there's a little bit of a speed gap there. There is a Trick Room setter, which is notable because both Copper Raja, Aggron, and Drampa actually don't mind the Trick Room plan. But yeah, a little bit of a speed gap in the middle tier, so I think a lot of mons that are 80, 70 speed are just going to run max HP, no speed, and get away with it pretty freely. So that is something to keep an eye out for.
Which actually might, in this case, be a little bit beneficial for Emboar, because if Emboar runs 252 Jolly, it's going to catch a lot of mons that would outspeed it.
That's fair. Emboar is also a really good choice scarfer in this format, too, because a lot of the things that are blisteringly fast, it doesn't have to worry about.
I'm really excited to see some Berserk Drampa gameplay, because obviously we could not have Galarian Moltres be legal, but Drampa as a pseudo Goltrace, I'm excited to see that.
Well, Drampa actually gets Roost, which notably Moltres Galar doesn't, so that is a notable difference. And
it's also slow with balls.
The type matchups here, I will say, the fighting and fire weaknesses don't really matter that much because they still have 3 resists for both. And they're pretty solid resists. The fighting resists are really good. The fire resists, you got your water type, you got your fire type, so you're pretty well covered on that basis as well.
And even
Drampa
in
is a good
terms
fire
of
resist.
like the common fighting type pairs of like fighting type plus knockoff, if you're concerned about that, then you just go Crobat instead of Celebi. Or if you're concerned about fighting type plus Stone Edge, then instead of going Crobat, you go Celebi. So
Hmm.
like there's even the common pairings are not that big of an issue. The fighting type matchup just looks worse because of the Aggron mostly.
Yeah. And same with the fire type. It looks worse because you have Cryogonal and Illumise. So
Yeah, which are like never gonna come to the same game most likely.
yeah, you're probably picking and choosing like what your support defogger is in that case. Um, I will say I think this team is missing a little bit of offensive prowess. Just because a lot of their mons are more like supporting focused. That said, I would not sleep on Swords Dance Celebi or Spec Celebi. I think it's a really dangerous mixed attacker if you're not preparing for it. And
Even Calm Mind.
Calm Mind, yep. And like the slow mons hit really hard. Copperaja, Drampa, Embor, they're gonna hit like buses. I'm a huge Copperaja believer.
Doesn't Celebi also get Nasty Plot?
I think, oh, does it get both now?
It does. It gets fucking all of it, dude.
Yeah, it gets all. It's like it's Onion Mew, you know, like it gets all the crazy moves. Not quite the same level of coverage as Mew, but in terms of support, move a lot.
Yeah. It also has like the trick room to set up for Aggron. It has so much really good utility. If it literally Celebi's like only real weakness in my mind is just that U-turn exists. That's like the only
It's
thing
just
holding
that
it
U-turn
back.
exists, and this team has pretty good U-turn punishers like Rocky Helmet, Aggron, Copperaja can run Rocky Helmet. Quagsire loves Rocky Helmet, so like U-turn isn't that big of a problem, and the bug resists are plentiful. So Celebi
Yeah.
might finally have
Overall,
its day. Yeah, Celebi I know has been kind of fallen off in recent gens or slept on by a lot of players, and I think this is the time where Celebi might actually like really show off. I will say I've always thought that Celebi is a pretty high skill cap mon. It takes a lot of player experience to make Celebi really shine, and so I think that will be a big test for Mr. Soup here, is if they can make Celebi put in the work it deserves.
yeah. One of the downsides of having so much set diversity, like even just being able to go Sword Stance or Nasty Plot or Leech Seed defensive, or like you really got to be able to identify which is going to be the strongest and which roles you need in this game specifically. Because there's also going to be games where like Nasty Plot Celebi is going to be really good, but your Crobat already wants to be Nasty Plot. Your Grandpa's already going to be offensive, and maybe what you need in that game isn't Nasty Plot, even though it would be strong. You just need the defensive utility.
No,
So identifying that could be very tough.
I definitely will see Celebi kind of similar to Mew in this format of like it has a lot of good sets, but properly identifying what the best set for this situation is going to be really hard. It's going to be a big like builder challenge. So, and it's also going to be a challenge for your opponent to prep for. Like if I see Celebi coming up against me, I'm like, okay, like is he going to run Nasty Plot? Is he going to run Leech Seed? Is he going to run like U-turn spam, utility? Like it gets Stealth Rocks. It can do everything.
Definitely a headache. Yeah.
So I'm actually gonna put this team. I think this team belongs in S. I think this team is arguably better than Matt's in terms of overall world compression. I think that Matt's team has slightly higher initial power level, but this team has a lot of options, and I think that with the right cooking, it's gonna put in the work.
Yeah. See, I'm not sure because I don't know what it is specifically, so I can't really make an argument for it. Something about the glance test of this team, I think it's a little bit lacking, but I don't know what it's lacking. So it's probably fine.
That's fine for a low S. Like, maybe we need to have a tier in between A and S, but like, I think it's better than Matt's.
The tiers aren't real anyways.
The tiers aren't really, like, arguably, I think my team is better than both of these teams. But you know, I'm in all gas, no brakes. I got my Rever Vroom, you know, all gas, no brakes.
He got a vroom go fast.
I got a vroom, straight up vrooming on it. Last up is Dorky, and Dorky is another surprisingly very well accomplished player. That if you don't know who Dorky is, you might sleep on him. He's a very good player. He's currently playing in the NBA Hustle League, and he's got some classics. That's why I got him and Royce mixed up, is because Dorky and Royce, both of them, are notorious for being Clawitzer believers. So
This a great Pokemon. I love
Coloss's great.
breakers.
This team looks super cool. I don't. This one has like aura. I like. It's got Bird Jesus. It's got Golurk. It's got like it's got Spiky. It's got Pokemon that look threatening. Now, does
Mega
that?
Pidgeot is, I will say, even in regular seasons, I drafted Mega Pidgeot once. It was surprisingly really slept on. There are so many matchups where I put the opponent into the builder and I go, wow, if I accomplish this one small task, Mega Pidgeot just wins.
Its 121 speed tier is huge in this format. And Palmot is also a really good complement for the high speed tiers here. 105 is a very contested speed tier in this format, and you know it's a really good attacker in that speed range and puts a lot of pressure on like Mismagius and who else is 105? Mienshao puts a lot of pressure on them to actually run full speed.
Isn't Mienshao 115?
Nope, Mienshao's 105.
Yeah, and it has like good coverage with the Iron Fist elemental punches. It gets a lot of really good utility moves as well. The Resurrection is, of course, not legal in this season.
Yeah.
But overall, lots of really good utility and a strong offensive threat.
I will say there's 2 Shell Smashers on this roster. Do I think that like that's something you should be really scared of? Not necessarily, but something to note. You should keep an eye on. There's also there's Trick Room setup with Slowbro Galar. One second, music paused. And so there's Trick Room potential, especially with some of these lower tiers. Like, you know, Golurk and Turtonator can both abuse Trick Room.
Yeah, I think this team is very similar to mine. Of like the first 6 months are real, and then the last 3 will slot in every now and then. Where like, you know, Golurk isn't bad by any means. Turtonator is a good rapid spinner, but in most games they're gonna bring those first 6, and that's gonna be the threats that you deal with. And all of them are really strong and threatening. Even Empoleon, like even the like it's a great utility hazard defogger and pivot. It also just can run agility plus hydro pump, and that does well into a lot of teams. Competitive is good. Weakness policy on it is good. And Woshen's a fucking demon.
Yep. One thing I will say about this team is we have no real answer to ice plus ground coverage. Everyone that is resistant to one is weak to the other.
There's also no bolt beam answer.
No. You have
There's only one
you have
mon that
Palmot.
resists ice, and it's weak to electric. Palmot is not a bolt beam answer.
It is only it is only Empoleon that resists ice. Oh shoot. Yeah, that's really bad. This team would probably like a fire type that actually resists ice. Not that that really helps with the ground and ice weakness, but yeah, the ice weakness is pretty brutal. That said,
I don't know if they're facing Starmie, but if they are, it's going to be a tough day.
I mean, Wo-Chen is really good into Starmie, I would say.
Signal Beam will hurt. It won't kill outright, but it will hurt.
I think this team is also like I think I need to fix the S tier because it's got like it needs better subjugation. I think subjugation. It needs a better split. But I think this is like better than Soup in Matt's team. So maybe I just split it in the half and move them down a tier. I guess we don't need D tier. Delete row.
It's just there for aesthetics.
It's there for aesthetics. Any other teams I think we want to move around at all? But I think, yeah, this is our last team. Is that we're almost done?
That's the last team. We did it. We got through it all.
Yeah, I think this team could use more hazards. I also don't think it really matters because,
yeah, I think Empoleon is like the only real setter because Golurk can set, but is pretty slow and often like wants to run Choice Band if it's coming. Minior can set, but it's probably not gonna. So it's really on Empoleon.
You know what? I'm gonna add a row above, and we're gonna title this. This is gonna be J. This is gonna be J tier. Here we go. Just win the season already, and we're gonna put Gensuzu and Goder up here. I think they more than deserve to be up here. And I'm also going to. Yeah, we got J tier. Shoutouts to J tier, everyone. And anyone else who wants to be in the bit, I kind of want to put you in the bit tier, but I don't think that's fair.
Well, I didn't even roll the wheel. What
I gotta put myself in J tier. There we go. I'm in J tier. Easy. I need to win the season.
Huh? It is your tier list.
It is my tier list. It's my tier list, and I get to pick the movie. So. Yeah. Any other questions from chat? Anyone want to like give their 2 cents on my dog shit tier list? You know. By the way, where is I should be able to post the tier list itself. Does this work? Oh, okay, I gotta answer.
I know you had it like copied at one point. Check out our other Pokemon. No, that's not it. Oh, there's hide template, delete template.
What happens if you click on this template here that I posted in the creator's channel? Does it let you edit it?
Let's find out. Yes, it does.
Gaming, okay. And let me go put that. Is there a? You know what? This
just put that in general chat. Like, slam your content.
Chat.
Why would you put it in post-game chat?
Because it's a post-game discussion.
No, it isn't. There hasn't been a single game.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, also there is a Square content channel.
Oh, is there? That makes more sense. Don't mind me. I'm just not even doing my job right.
Let's go. It deleted.
No! Anyways, thank you everyone who came out. If you do have questions about the OTL League, we will direct you to Mr. Azzy and Mr. Jortson Glaze. Oh my god. Yep. Jortson Glaze. The Jortson Glaze continues. If you have questions about the OTL League, reach out to NN Plus or Azzy on Discord. We are an invite-only league, just to kind of keep numbers quiet so we can experiment with our format a bit more. But I'll be making some more content and probably doing some replay reviews of this league over the next few weeks. We have 5 weeks of regular season and something like 3 or 4 weeks of playoffs. So I think that goes until like basically May. Something along those lines. Yeah, I don't know. Anything you want to say as one of the admins here, Mr. KilehKa?
KilehKa, yeah. You guys are absolutely also welcome to message me. I'm apparently notorious for ghosting people. I didn't know that until recently. But yeah, if you have any questions or are interested in joining and want to ask if there's room, anything like that, you are more than welcome to message me. Also, I enjoy scrims. If you are looking for a scrim partner and you don't know too many people to message, you're also welcome to message me about that. And if I'm around, I will help you out.
Yes, anyone in this league or other leagues even, if you need a scrim partner, you need some advice with a builder, you can reach out to me, or I can help you reach out to other people as well. I know our mod team loves to help people build. I know Mr. Goder is a great build partner, if I do say so myself. And we have a lot of newer players who are trying to learn more about draft leagues and would love to, get some practice in. So if you want to scrim with someone or you want to help someone scrim, there's people here who would love to hear from you. So I know too many people to message. I'm looking for a scrim partner. I asked to be your scrim partner. Please respond. But yeah, we love helping out people, and our community is about having fun first. But, I'm here to win. So I've only really won one draft season in my dotted history of Pokemon draft leagues, and be it in the NBA or this league, or unfortunately I missed out on the win in the NHL just earlier this week. But we are here to have a good time. So not here for a long time, here for a good time.
He's retiring after this season.
I did not say that, but yeah. If that's all you wanted to say, I'm gonna disconnect the call, and then I'll just say goodbyes to stream, and then I gotta play my game against Leezy if he's still here. So
we get the follow-up content.
Follow-up game, yeah. And we'll probably be back either Monday or Tuesday with some replay reviews. To keep in mind, if Leezy is here. He's waiting for me to play. Okay.
All right. Well, good luck, sir. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah. Take care. Oh my God, chat, he's gone. I miss him already. Okay, I'm gonna end stream shortly. I just wanted to talk about my plans for this week. I mentioned this yesterday. I will most likely be streaming Slay the Spire tomorrow afternoon. I might end stream early to go play Magic IRL. We'll see how that plays out. Shout out to anyone who wants to play Pioneer. We love the Pioneer format, and I wish it was supported better. And then I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing Thursday, but Friday I should be live with stream again. Yeah, probably just gonna be a lot of Slay the Spire content until next week Monday, where we have more Pokemon. And if anyone wants to join for his co-op Slay the Spire run, reach out to me anytime. I'm always game. So yeah. In other news, I did post a slightly edited one of my Spire runs to my VOD channel. I mentioned this the other day, but I'm working on making a separate YouTube channel for like only edited stuff and only like the clips more so and stuff like that. So I'm still working out what exactly I want to do with that. But if you have suggestions on any of my VODs or replays about editing tips, I would love to hear them. So send me a DM, comment, like, subscribe, all the 9 yards. Let me know what I can do to make some of that better. Yeah. I think I misspelled suspiciously. Oh, I did. Oh, I misspelled. Oh. Cotton 4K with the misspell. Okay. But yeah, I'm gonna go play against Leezy and then go get dinner and then chill out for the rest of the night. Thank you all for coming out. Let me really quick. Embarrassing SMH. I know. Is there anyone worth raiding at this time of night? Or okay. We're gonna raid into Dad is Heck, who is one of my favorite content creators from the Friends Without Benefits Let's Play crew. I want to get better at rating people because it helps get me known in other communities. So let's see. It is okay. It's working. Sweet. But yeah, thank you for coming out. Spire tomorrow, stuff on Friday, probably some stuff over the weekend, and YouTube, all that jazz coming through in the near future. And thank you all for the support and the follows from El New Name and Darien Yarn. I don't know how to pronounce that name. I apologize to anyone who I mispronounced, including our guest, Mr. KilehKa, Mr. Aiden, the OTL admin. It makes him sound like one of the Team Plasma enemies. But yeah, peace everyone. Bye.